Blind aware creatures? Do I have to open the meme? I just don't have time for that shit. Okay. Well, thanks for your input, Pseudonym Spike. Why do you care what I think? Okay. I mean, like, Twitch isn't social media. In that sense. It's not algorithm-based social media. The other social media I like is Mastodon. And Twitter can die in a fire of piss and vomit. So there goes all of the social media that I use, with the exception of YouTube, and that's fine. If Canadians are prioritized Canadian social media, that doesn't matter to me. So let's see what this is. How many times do I have to? Yep. Nope. That is absolutely how I feel about were creatures. So it's like many things. I don't really care. Things are constantly changing on social media, and doesn't really bother me. That's my actual answer to your question. Doesn't really bother me. Doesn't really change my job. Doesn't really affect me. And I'm also not one of those like panic basket, oh god, it's a third time peoples. So it doesn't really also bother me much. My chat seems like it's a magnet for passive-aggressive trolls. We haven't had a single troll. What are you going about? I talk about politics pretty frequently on my streams, so it's kind of a magnet for those kinds of questions because I talk about it. It is a thing, but also, like, it just means if you go on Twitter, you're slightly more likely to see somebody posting about local... You're going to see somebody posting about local news before you see an American posting about that local news. But also, like, it really doesn't affect things in a grand scheme. Like, 5% of my audience is in Canada. It doesn't really affect me. If I get shown to Canadians first when I post a thing, cool. I'd love to visit New Zealand. Love to. I would love to. Seems like a lovely place. Flight's expensive, so I'd rather not. But also, I would still love to. It's one of those things where, like, if I ever went to PAX Australia, I'd go to New Zealand after for a bit. Kind of deal. Considering, like, the other place I really want to go to is Iceland, it's like all these weird, obtuse, expensive flights. No, he's still an eccentric space dude. But he's also rich, and being an asshole is just like the #1 character trait of people who are also rich. So, I mean, personally, I think that it checks out perfectly. Also, he was always an asshole. It's just more obvious to people in what ways he's an asshole now. You were just saying that he's always been an asshole? Yeah, the difference is, like, I think his fans are fewer and further between now. Or like his fans are actually no, his fans are more condensed on to be a specific type of people. Which is becoming less popular on the internet. So on the internet, he seems like he's less popular. But in reality, he's still just as popular, I think. Or at least in the circles that I sit in on the internet. You don't get rich by being a good person? I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. It's harder. But you can definitely get rich while not being a horrible person. I would point at actors and such. How about this? You don't have to be an asshole to be a rich person, but it sure fucking helps. It's just like money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure fucking helps. You would argue they just have good PR. You know what? Actually, you're probably not wrong there. There definitely is. There's probably an element of truth to that statement. Also, this is going to be tavern/dining hall up here. And I'm going to cut this out and make this all into a big upper level ramp that goes up into there. You love that shape? What, just this upper, like, hangout zone? I think so far it's looking pretty okay. Kind of thinking about constructing a stairwell in here. Or maybe stairs on, like, the corners of this. Like right here. Kind of deal.
Money can't buy happiness, but I would like to try.
Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy you ad-free viewing on twitch.tv/BLANDRL. I mean, what? Or a t-shirt. Thank you, Moo Clown, for that tier 5. Or for that tier 1 for 5 months. Appreciate you. Let's go Slate. Really torn between wishing SpaceX? Okay, think about this, right? I know that this might be a hard disconnect to make in your brain. SpaceX isn't Elon Musk, right? Just like Microsoft isn't the 3 people that don't, like, you know, a CEO is not the company. A lot of fucking people work at SpaceX. What you should be, instead of like hoping that they like don't succeed because Elon Musk is involved, what you should be hoping is that they're able to keep as many of their rights as possible and don't end up working in some creepy fucking company town. That's what you should be hoping all the best for them, that they don't end up in that kind of situation. Now let's jump up to where these migrants are arriving and expel that dwarf that's been bit as soon as they show up, if they show up. Ah, there you are. Get out. You can come fight with us later if you want. Like any conspiracy. Okay, hold on a second. Just let me recenter the camera. and unpause the game. Also, if they did fail, probably what would happen is they'd get sold off, which might not actually necessarily be the worst. Can I tell if someone is a were creature? If they get bit in one of my forts, I give them a nickname. Also, I have a strange mood on an armorer. Currently, I don't think we have any metal bars. But I will use this as an opportunity to make a metalsmith's forge. I'd say that the SpaceX's next owners don't screw it up with the banks when Musk's billions in the hole. You know, he'll never be billions in the hole. He'll always be some wealthy rich man. He'll just keep up with the exact direction he's been going. Gotta wall that off up there. I think actually I should just go from the lower layer up. So we should just go up this way. So I can fix this lower spot down here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And many of his companies are starting to have troubles for a variety of reasons. Happy Kaijus, I think is how you say that. Because you spelled it with a Z, it almost looks like a juice brand. It's like, buy yourself a box of Happy Kaijus. It's like, oh man, I want to make a kaiju happy and buy a box of juice. Thank you for the Prime sub. Cheers. Enjoy the ad-free viewing for the next 30 days, courtesy of Amazon. All right, let's do that. 2 of those. And 2 of these. I mean, like, speaking of evil companies, right? Like, you know, hoping that, and like, there are people like this, right? Like, hoping that SpaceX fails is kind of almost in the same boat as hoping that Twitch fails because Amazon owns it. And there are people who hope that Twitch will fail. I don't want Twitch to go away. I like Twitch. Frankly. Like, there's ways it could be improved for sure. But it's nice being able to do this job. And I know some people are like, YouTube's an alternative. It's really not. It's a different platform with a different audience. And it's not really used by that audience in the same way that Twitch is. You say that like it's a bad thing. Rainbow Ducky. Like, you know, if people want horny in their daily cartoons, I mean, fucking, why not? Let them have that. Absolutely. Foxtrot. You know, it's really funny because they're like right now the new hot like platform that all the kids are excited about is what, Kick? It's owned by Stake. As in like the crypto gambling network. It's like, find me something that's like both significantly less stable and also significantly more evil than even Amazon. I would argue Stake is a far more evil corporation than, and also less stable corporation than Google or Amazon. It's like, it's the reason I wouldn't touch that platform with a 285-foot long dildo is because I do not want anything to do with steak. S-T-A-K-E, steak, as in like putting a steak in a thing, not S-T-E-A-K as in like a rare steak. I would like a rare steak. Somebody wants to send me a rare steak, I'm in. But I ain't touching steak with a very, very, very long pole. Let's use a different color for these pillars at the top. The microcline. I was gonna say, I keep thinking I'm out of booze. I'm not. These dwarves are just doing too many construction jobs. Okay, so down here, what do I have for tables? 1, 2, 3. Let's do 4 and 5. I don't even have like a manager yet in this fort, which is kind of crazy for me, actually. Gambling destroys lives. A lot of things destroy lives. But generally, in my experience, there's certain industries that I don't want to align myself and my brand with, and gambling is one of those. Me, vegan? Actually, generally, I mean, I haven't had a non-vegan meal in since the 7th. It was the last day I ate meat. So, about a third of the ads you get here are for fantasy sports betting services. At least they're not crypto fantasy sports betting services. And also, I have no control over the ads I show on my stream. If Twitch gave me an ads manager where I could select the type of ads I show, I absolutely would. But unfortunately, I don't have that level of control. I would love that level of control, but I do not have it. So this is going to be our dining hall, and up here is going to be tavern. No, I know, right? And also, like, at the very least, I have the choice of, like, what branding I want to associate myself with based on, like, the games I play and the directories I play in. So, like, it's not a perfect solution by any stretch, but hey, it's the best that I can do. So this right here is going to be an inn/tavern. Currently, I'm just going to set to long-term residents only. This is going to be a pretty cool little fort, I think. This is going to be a pretty cool little fort. Can also use this water for stuff. Do fun stuff there. So I think what I want to do here is I just want to build a wall across. Like, let's just go up to... yeah, we'll just go up to there and then just right across. Is what I'm going to do. What traps will I have in this one? I'm not entirely sure yet. I mean, obviously we're gonna have a giant pit on the surface, so lots of spikes probably. But currently, I'm not totally sure. Kind of depends on what materials we run into. Spy a pair of stairs. Those are built. I didn't dig those. If I'm allowed to build floors, I'm allowed to build stairs. But we're definitely going to have like some sort of drop thing going on. It's like if I want to channel out the entire thing, I could absolutely build a stairway all the way to the top. Could absolutely do that. Also, I'm going to build a well right here. Now, need to make mechanisms. Let's go do that. There's also a bunch of livestock walking into my fort. Trick finger. What kind of dwarf would you like? Just let me finish hitting the buttons that I'm currently thinking about hitting, because otherwise I will forget that I've hit them. Let's go up here. I think I queued up a traction bench at the bottom of that. Yes, I did. Happy and beard. I like it. You get to be Lorbam, the legendary miner, who's in love with Erdem, who's also a legendary miner. Look at you. You're a couple of mining industrious dwarves. Rip Twitch. I was gonna say, fine here. The moment you say that, it stops permabuffering. Sounds like your internet hiccuped, because I didn't even drop a frame yet today. You have a developed sense of empathy. He's always in love with somebody and always develops positive feelings after a new romance in 292. Oh, that's not good. Well, as long as you're always in love with that one dwarf, otherwise you might run into problems. He is greatly pleased by his own looks and accomplishments, and he is swayed by emotional appeals. He relies on the advice of others during decision-making and tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others. He is currently less private and isn't particularly ambitious, and sometimes acts with little determination and confidence, and currently is more confident, and he likes to take it easy. He has an active imagination, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day. And only grumbles mildly at crappy weather. He dreams of raising a family and personally respects the development of his skill. And he likes shirt, black bronze, tanzanite, cacao wood, and mountain goat leather, rope reed fabric, and the color aqua. Statues and guinea fowls for their social nature, and king snake men for their habit of eating other snakes. And the sound of... Wait, hold on. Do you like the concept of cannibalism? That's terrifying. And when possible, prefers to consume tomatillo wine and rock nut oil, and absolutely hates moon snails. And description-wise, his medium-length beard is arranged in double braids. His sideburns are clean-shaven. His very long mustache is arranged in double braids, and his very long hair is neatly combed. His somewhat narrow ears are fuse-lobed, and his slightly hooked nose is extraordinarily broad. His slightly close-set amethyst eyes are slightly rounded, and his hair is brown. His skin is umber, that is burnt. 3 seconds again? 3 seconds to what? It's like 2 minutes till midnight? To kill the unborn in the womb? Or however that song goes. 2 minutes. Midnight. Alright, alright, yeah, this was before I made that stockpile. Okay, well, let's go all the way down here. All the way down here. Look at them. They're all hanging out in the tavern. Or, tavern. By tavern, I mean room. Space. Anyway, so I'm going to go down into here, and we're going to make a little drink stockpile. Specifically for drinks. Maybe prepared meals too. Although we don't have any prepared meals yet, so just drinks then. Oh, you missed the dwarf by 3 seconds. Were you counting? See, it's a real good thing I decided to shy away from just letting people pay for dwarves. or we would just have like 29 dwarves named Jerry Gord. Which, while that would be hysterical, it would be very confusing. Don't apologize for clicking faster than other people. You won the Dwarf fair and square. Flaunt it. Twice, even. You deserve it. Speaking of redemptions. Where was I? Omniscient anteaters are drinking blood and honey. This is gross. Actually, the first thing one learns is never eat plutonium. Controversially, hotel soaps large greasy iguana vigorously. Where do all caught up. You've claimed a metalsmith's forge. You want bars of metal. Great. Let's go to furnaces and let's see if there's anything we can do here. Not super helpful. Where do? Might be too high to type on your phone. Strangely enough, you probably wouldn't do that. Donating is one thing, but buying dwarves just feels weird. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, you're not that incapable of typing. You're totally fine. All right, so it's nice knowing you here, Melville. But I don't think there's anything I can do for you. You want metal bars. I do not have metal bars. Also, hello, Orange. Why did you gift me a sub to Elfie Bean's channel? Just asking. It's ramp day? Mm-hmm. It's like leg day, but ramps. But sure, we could call it ramp day. It's also Wednesday, I think. Right? Today's Wednesday, right? Certainly hope it's Wednesday. IR Stupid, thanks for gifting a sub to Omega Loaf. Cheers, man. Also, man, IR Stupid, you getting very close to 200. Baka Glass, thank you very much for gifting a sub to Evil Prince Milio. I think is how you say that. Evil Prince Milio? Something like that. We know that evil princes definitely deserve subs. Gotta be careful if I endorse evil princes too much, though. Oh, game's paused. It's like, why are we not moving? It's Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. This is true. Thank you very much, Stone Calendar. I'm going to be outside of the country. Well, I mean, I hope you have a good trip wherever you may be going. Cuba? Oh, hell yeah. Vacation? My neighbor just got back from Cuba. Always wanted to go to Cuba. It's always one of those places where it's just like, man, getting there seems expensive, but also like once you're there, everything seems super cheap, so. Well, you have a good trip, dude. My neighbor actually brought me back a bunch of some fancy Cuban coffees, which have been nice. Nice change of pace from my usual stuff. You know, my general local roasts and all that crap that I normally have. It's been nice to try some new flavors. Probably because flights to Cuba from Montreal are cheap. Flights to Cuba from Vancouver, not as direct, generally. So generally not as cheap. Like flying to Cuba from Montreal is like flying to California from here. But full, I don't know about full. Some cigars and rum. I'm not much of a cigar smoker. I try to avoid them. But if I'm in a place where cigars are being smoked, I will smoke a cigar. But it is not my, certainly not my go-to, shall we say. I find they just kind of make my throat hurt. It's $900 for full inclusive. Yeah, that's pretty good. Was an epic fort. Could you briefly explain what Meatpit is about? Meatpit is the same fort or the same world, same faction. So the gimmick here is I'm not allowed to use the digging tool. I'm only allowed to use the channeling and the ramps tool. I'm also not allowed to dig stairs. So if we want to go up and down, we have to dig holes. And because the fort's called Meatpit, I'm digging a giant hole in the ground all the way down to the first major cavern layer for fun. Because, you know, who doesn't want to dig a big hole? So this is going to go all the way down to this. I can construct stairs, yes. I just can't dig stairs. But yeah, no, and then the video that I put up this morning on YouTube about King Astrog is basically like spoilers ending for that fort. Not to be like reductive, but people in places such as Cuba tend to like anybody from countries where the currency is more valuable. A human caravan has arrived. Maybe now we can trade for a metal item. Let's just bring cut gems over. But yeah, no, I'm real glad that you have enjoyed Danger Caves. That was a fun fort. It was a very fun fort. Who's pissed? I just expel you. What? There's somebody like as upset as you possibly can be, apparently, but they're not listed on here. That's concerning. Oh, I know who it is. It's Melville. The armor. Got stricken by melancholy. Because I wasn't able to get metal bars in time. Well, time to queue up a coffin, basically. Well, because Canada you know, was one of the first countries to acknowledge Cuba again as a country. After, you know, the missile crisis and all that. That is true. I'm just talking about the general populace in today. How was your nap? It's good to see you again, Budgie. Did you crab all night? Feel like we should butcher a bunch of our piggies. Lovely nap, felt good? Hell yeah. Go trade with these humans. Oh, look at this. They brought a gold bar. I will take it. They also brought lots of wood. How kind of them. They brought a fancy barrel, which I will also take. A bucket, which I will also take. I'm literally just taking anything that's made of, like, stuff that's heavy and food, basically. Because right now, food is a premium. But can't quite buy everything, so not buy the meat. Buy everything else. I need to go, speaking of food, I need to go grab my lunch. I'm getting hungry. I don't know. Canada, this is just a Canadians thing, but for some reason, there's a lot of countries in the world where people are very quick to say, oh, people in that country love Canadians. And it's like, well, maybe historically. Like, I hear this a lot about, like, the Dutch, where people, especially Canadians, are, like, very self-important in that, like, oh, the Dutch love us. Like, okay, well, we did liberate Holland. But, like, I don't know how true that is for modern day. It's like historically, sure. There is historical importance between our two countries, but they love our money. Doesn't everybody love our money? Like, you could say that about, like, Las Vegas, and that's about as American as you can get. They certainly love your money too. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit pessimistic on that, but I don't always feel that historical importance necessarily adds up to current importance, but what, they think that, like, literally everybody loves them? All right, chat. So I think I'm just going to let these dwarves dig this big hole because they're currently wrecking my frame rate with it. And I'm going to go grab my sandwich. I will be back in about... You keep getting told your credit card looks fake? You should try getting a Van City credit card and then try and use it anywhere that isn't, like, British Columbia. Like, I go to Quebec and I get told my credit card is fake. I go to Alberta and they tell me my credit card is fake. But it's fun. It's a great time. I, like, have to manually punch in credit cards sometimes because everybody's just like, yeah, your credit card don't work here. It's like, fuck you. Good luck using your debit card as well. Anyway, I will be right back, chat. If I could get a round of beers, that'd be fantastic. And if you happen to have sound commands, now's a good time to use them to entertain the chat room. Streamer will be back in like under 5 minutes. I just need to go stab myself with 2 needles, and then I can eat a sandwich. So I will be back in like a minute 30. BRB.
over here. He has a sword.
Woo!
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
fuck yeah, dude. This is
Good
fucking
job.
sick. Hell yeah.
Woo!
Matt Damon? Okay, what kind of dwarf is Matt Damon? Eurus, played by Matt Damon.
You fucking donkey.
I mean, speak for yourself. I have a cheese sandwich. So, what kind of dwarf is Matt Damon? Is Matt Damon just happy dwarf with beard?
See how he bites off the
I
shell
can't
and
wait
let
for
it
somebody to just be like, I want to be this dwarf, and I'll be like, you're married to Matt Damon. Or is he the milker? Probably a donkey. Okay. He's a Matt Damon. All right, so this milker played by Matt Damon is blissful when sleeping in a very good bedroom. He's currently socializing. He's a strong need to pay back any favor done for him. He is a pessimist, and he seeks out exciting and adventurous situations. He doesn't tend to hold on to grievances, and he is stubborn. He is quick to form negative views about things and doesn't mind wearing something special now and again. He is often nervous, and he is not easily swayed by emotional appeals. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and he currently is more shameless. He likes to take it easy, and he is currently more rude. When he's thinking hard, he has a habit of licking his lips. He needs alcohol to get through the working day, just like real life. He personally greatly respects those that observe decorum and maintain their dignity, and thinks that working hard is an abject idiocy, which is why he's an actor. He deeply dislikes competition, and he sees war as a useful means to an end, and dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. Why do I want to put Matt Damon in the military now? He likes alunite, pig iron, turquoise, giant cave, swallowtooth, cotton paper, the color gold, shields, and pigs for their snorts, and giant rattlesnakes for their warning rattle. And the words of the page of aquamarine, and the sound of the russet meadow, and the sight of the musical blossom, and when possible prefers to consume lungfish, and herring, and plump helmets, and parsnip wine. You heard it here first, folks. Matt Damon likes parsnip wine. I require a beard because why? Because I just named a dwarf Matt Damon. His very long beard is arranged in double braids. His sideburns are clean shaven. His very long mustache is arranged in double braids. His very long hair is arranged in double braids. His tall, narrow ears have nearly fused lobes, and his hook-ear eyes are slightly rounded, and his nose is slightly hooked, and his hair is auburn, and his skin is dark brown. Sorry. Fell down a bit of a moment there. All right, so I'm going to, I think, set up management now. Why do I want to make Matt Damon my manager? There's something funny about that. Matt Damon's gonna be such a hit. And before Matt Damon has like a boulder fall on his head and gets deaded. So I think that this fortress really is going to need a cool bedroom design. So because I have to channel up, what I'm thinking is that we do bedrooms along here and up here. So I'm going to have to build to the edge of this. And also over to here. But what I'm thinking we do is I ramp up this way. I need to be careful to not hit the aquifer there. And then we ramp up like this way, right? And bedrooms can be like this. These can be our bedrooms. But each bedroom is also going to then have a ramp going up here, which goes into an upper bedroom. Right? So we'll have the lower bedrooms and the upper bedrooms. Although now that I look at it, maybe we want slightly longer walkways to get into them. Might be a way to do that. Can get rid of this first one. And also, maybe I can make these look more interesting. Oopsies. I don't know if that's going to work. What if I do like this? I don't think there's actually enough space to do that. It would be awesome if Matt Damon became king. I see that as kind of unlikely. Don't get your hopes up. Yeah, let's just keep it uniform, at least for this area. Something like that. We could make that work. I think we could make that work. So how about instead I start digging out here? Looks like some kind of stage area. I mean, this is a tavern. And this is a dining hall. So, not too far off. Also going to need a throne there and a table here. And this is going to be an office. And this here office is going to be assigned to our brand new manager, who seems to be Zas, who's also going to be our bookkeeper. There you go, Zas. No stairs. Well, I can construct stairs. I just can't channel stairs. So none of the normal, like, I'm a dig a stairwell strats. We're going to start them on the lower level. You've been killing fire fiends? Well, if you've been killing them, what would I... You're probably more educated on how to kill them than me. And also, they're coming out of lava? Fire fiends? Are they firemen or fire fiends? That's weird. If they're coming out of lava. Unless you've already popped a spire. But are they weak to anything? I don't know. This is Dwarf fort. Your world's different than mine. Sharp objects, probably. I mean, not the words I'd use, but sure. In regards to challenge my construction behaviors. It just makes me build stuff that's different. I don't know if it's really a challenge. Just things coming out of the lava? Well, tell me what they're called, and then I can give you an accurate description of... If you're killing them, then, like, clearly, I can't give you an accurate description if you don't know what they are. Fire fiends would imply that they're some kind of demon. But if they're not demons, then I have no idea. Yeah, most things are weak to be getting hit in the head. Yeah, fire imps, cage traps. Are they magma crabs? Magma crabs are quite weak. You just need some dodge. This will be the way down right here. Also, the reason the frames are low is not because the fort's actually laggy. It's literally just thanks to the way this game works when you're channeling stuff. Why don't you go to the dead and missing screen? It'll tell you what you killed in the dead and missing screen. Because obviously you killed it, right? You shouldn't need to Google anything. You can just go to the dead and missing screen and see what's dead. All right, so anybody else is migrated here? Cognic migrated here. The fisher dwarf's gonna be real sad here. No fishing here. Definitely none. Assuming we're still digging. Nope. It's actually starting to look like a big hole now. That part's kind of cool. This is going to be a very large hole. You've never seen the likes? So what you're telling me is you've only seen the dislikes. Got a clother who's been possessed. Means they probably want a clother's shop. Which would mean... let's just make us a clother. Actually... before I make us a clother, I'm going to construct a little square of slate floor. Then I'm going to put a clothes shop there. Oh, I know what you mean, but I'm simply twisting your words into new sentences because it's entertaining to me. It's really, 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 really funny being somebody my age in the renters market because I get all of these ads for like new apartments opening. It's like 1-bedroom apartments, $993,000. They've been trying to sell those for a while. Good luck. Nobody wants to buy at that price. Doesn't matter if you constructed with that or if you built the building and complex with that price in mind. No one's going to buy it at that price. Maybe 3 years ago if you completed the building then, but not now. Not now. All right, let's go down here and go to clothing. Let's go to clothes. View there. Let's go with sandstone. Typing on mobile view makes you twist your own sentences. Oh, yeah, that's fair. It's mobile's not an easy way to talk. Oh, this was before I built the other bridge. Need a little tiny one right there. This area is like not even safe yet. Because things can still just like do that and walk over the edge of the wall. But then they'll be able to walk up and around the wall and all that fun stuff. Where'd you go? There you are. So we can actually get Forgotten Beasts now, which is slightly terrifying. But we should be fine. It's Meatpit? Yep. Meatpit is indeed a fort that we started today. And as chat already put the command in, there is the danger caves ended yesterday. Your dwarf is still alive, though. Bonesaw. Against all odds, you were able to survive both of the massive rampages. But yeah, no, Danger Caves was fun enough that I resurrected an old series of videos that I haven't updated in a very long time. I actually made a Today in Dwarf Fortress video. Which is something I haven't made in ages. Although admittedly, it's quite similar to my current formats, so rather an easy thing to bring back at this point. Yep, goal is another useful one. Jerry Gord over here just sharing the knowledge. I love that my militia commander is just constantly feeling stress and anxiety. Ah, that dwarf was found dead, dehydrated. Well, that's fine. Let's make a coffin. So where are these newbies showing up? Now I don't trust any of them. I'm waiting for, like, those vampires to show up again. Like, just these silly reoccurring characters. Just a peasant? You good at anything? No? Well, jeez. Clother's been possessed and, like, hasn't claimed the clothing shop? Oh, because the clothing shop hasn't been done being made. That would do it. Ah, there you go. Now it's claimed. Let's follow this strange mood and see what they go grab. And unlike my previous forts, this fort will actually be super duper ready immediately if we do get any kind of royalty into this fort. There you go. So you grabbed what? Pigtail cloth. Nice, easy. One piece. Well, I don't, like I said, I don't consider this a challenge. This is a theme. You can call it a challenge, but that's not my choice of words. The theme for this fort is I am not making stairs. I'm not digging stairs. I also can't dig sideways. So I can't use this tool. And I can't use this tool. That's it. I don't really consider it a challenge. It's not really increasing the difficulty of the game. It's making me build things differently. But people call everything challenge because it's easy clickbait. So just a theme. That's all it is. Should be fun. Yeah, it's definitely gonna make a very visually interesting looking fort. I can build stairs though, so you will see stairs popping up, and it'll be when I build them. Kinda tempted to do coffins back here. But for right now, I think first coffin. Oh man, that's kind of cheating. I'm gonna do coffins down here. Along the underneath this floor. That's Sauropod fiend? Yeah, I have no idea. Good luck, you're on your own. When you're talking about fiends and stuff, yeah, you're on your own. I have no idea. Udil of Vunam Kivish, the clother, has created Odonthunist Anthalbil, a pigtail hood, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the Hamleaf ancestor, Melbil. Power streamed. Is it normal to find grass in the caverns? Nope. But I've seen it too recently. It's odd. This is a pigtail hood. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is made from pigtail cloth. On the item is an image of Mind Rumors, the Hermit of Chastity, a frosty metal mace, and pigtail. Before going down? Fighter dwarves? Like, as in dwarves with no weapons? Like, specifics? That sucks. But yeah, I don't know. When you get to that kind of stuff, it's like I have nothing I can tell you because that's unique to your world, right? But dwarves with sharp sticks is like the best advice I can give you. Let's get rid of all of these jobs. Let's get rid of that job. Okay, so we are going to make shush. Rock coffin, 10 of them. And I'm going to make rock blocks. 5,000 of them. just keep making blocks. We're gonna have lots of them. They're mostly in iron. Okay. Yeah, like I know I'm just kind of saying the same thing over and over, but I have no idea. Because that's entirely unique to your own world, so. Actually, no, let's smooth first. What, the fiend? I mean, fiends are generated like beasts. Fiends are probably, and I say probably, demons. They might also be necromancer experiments, but if they already killed it, then I don't know. If it came out of rocks, then yeah, it's definitely a demon. Unless it was armed, in which case then it's an angel, which would be a weird name for an angel. But they're generated just like Forgotten Beasts. MB Audio, what kind of dwarf would you like? If you'd like to see the list, let me know. But yeah, generally, like they are generated just like Forgotten Beasts. Man, I screwed this up because I queued that job up too quickly. Can you see my miners? They're a hot commodity, apparently. They're also very happy. Very, very happy. You want to be a Lolor? One currently making a coffin. MB Audio is very greedy and is somewhat scatterbrained, tends to avoid any physical confrontations, and works to spread his natural tendency with his respective martial prowess. He has little interest in joking around and finds obligations confining, though he is conflicted by this for more than one reason. He likes to take it easy, and he has an active imagination. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and likes working outdoors and only grumbles mildly at crappy weather. Dreams of mastering a skill in this dream was realized that he personally doesn't respect society that has settled into harmony without debate and strife, and sees introspection as a waste and values peace over war. He likes green tourmaline, giant toad bone, the pigtail fabric, millstones and crowns and rabbits for their ears, and opa for their coloration, and the sight of the adoration of butterflies. When possible, prefers to consume firefly, brook lamprey, and tuber beer, and hemp flower, and feather tree eggs. And absolutely hates maggots that purr. He is sleeping, and his very long beard is arranged in double braids. His sideburns are clean shaven. His very long mustache is neatly combed. His hair is clean shaven, and his close set aquamarine eyes are round. His eyelashes are short, and his dark brown skin is wrinkled. His ears are somewhat tall, and his hair is tan with flecks. Gray. Oh yeah, then it's a demon. And again, no idea how to deal with it. That's entirely up to you. They're generally quite strong. That's about all I can really say. Is generally they are quite strong. Shooting fire at you? Yep. Welcome to the hidden fun stuff. Well, the beginning of it. Alright, so this is going to be a tomb. Which means this dwarf's going to go place item in tomb. It's a damn shame, that. And there we go. Shoutouts to MB Audio for dealing with the body for us. And let's do this down to here, and then once that's done, we'll do the upper level. Also working on this up top. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that is a piece of advice I guess like I could give is just go watch my DF Ideas video on how to safely dig deeply. Or not safely, but safer-ishly Build deeply. Because that's about all I can really say. It's just like, smooth and fortify, smooth and fortify, smooth and fortify, smooth and fortify. If you haven't yet, don't forget to smooth and fortify. MB Audio, thank you very much for gifting a sub to Crinkled Paper. That means a lot. It really does. And there they all go. And Crinkled Paper, now you don't have to see ads for the next 30 days, courtesy of MB Audio. And thank you very much for gifting another sub, dude. It does mean a lot. Smooth and fortify. Yep, you smooth and fortify, and then you can see behind it. And then if there's a rush from the circus, then congrats. You're already on top of it, and they can't get through. Unless they dodge, and in which case, then maybe you'll have to deal with one or two. But they're pretty easy to deal with beyond that point. And also, we're stuck saving, so we're waiting now. I'm doing all right, Bob, and yourself? I am solidly okay. Back's kind of sore. I think I slept funny, but aside from that, okay. Getting by, surviving, playing dwarfs, as I tend to. Just came in after doing a bit of wood splitting. Sounds like a good workout. Perfect 5 out of 7. Just enough to not drown. But enough that you also learn swimming. 5 out of 7 memes mean a lot, something very different if you play Dwarf Fort. All right, so now that all this is done, we can do the outer wall. Let's do all the way out to there. Don't actually need to go that far. And then all the way across this way. And all the way up to here. And then here I will build floors, which can go out to there. Those will be chalk. They drown instantly. Well, it's not necessarily their feet wet. I mean, it's like they've fallen in like multiple meters deep water and they're probably wearing heavy clothing and they don't know how to swim. So it's kind of like Link before he's found the boots that let him swim or whatever the fuck. What's up, Gome? It's kind of the way I would like put it, is like it's very much just Link before he's figured out how to swim. There we go. These are now more likely to not get canceled. Frame rates are much better. The splitter always wins. And we are going to have so much stone. For some reason, YouTube keeps on surfacing videos of people chopping wood for me, and I don't actually know why. It's like it's the thing the YouTube algorithm has decided that I want to watch. Which is kind of funny, because like I used to, like growing up, I lived in a house for a bit that had a wood fireplace, and it kind of just makes me sad now because I miss it. Woodcutter thirst traps? I suppose. I don't know. It's like I don't believe I've ever actually watched any of them either, which is kind of funny to me. Like that's the especially amusing part of YouTube's algorithm to me, is when it just decides I want to watch something that I've never watched before. Is usually the case. It's just like, what? It's like there was a month there where YouTube just decided that I wanted to watch fishing videos. I went fishing a couple times when I was younger. I have no interest in fishing. Like, I'm sure plenty of people do. I'm sure it's a very popular format of video for many people. I'm sure lots of people enjoy that kind of content. I don't give a fuck about the fish that some random dude caught. What biome is this? Mountain. Combined with barren wasteland. But I'm doing my best to turn it from barren wasteland / mountain into really big hole. And I'm aware that really big hole isn't a biome, but sue me. Actually, please don't. I don't feel like paying for a lawyer. But like, you know what I mean. Let's go all the way down to there. I can't wait for some forgotten beast to show up in this cavern lair and then just come running out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. It's going to happen inevitably. It's also going to be especially fun when suddenly this whole thing starts dripping. Which is also going to happen. So we haven't hit the Aquifer yet, but we're going to eventually. Find big hole. It's like what chat? What biome is this? Streamer. Really big hole in the ground. The Grand Canyon. And traders have arrived. Fortunately, they're not very traitorous. Although this fortress is looking kind of craterous. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they showed up anyway, traitorous or not. But I guess by that logic, they're trying to traitor with us, so we should definitely trade with them. Every non-English speaker watching my stream right now is just like, what the fuck did he just say? All right, no, that's happening. It's okay, because I'm sitting here going, what the fuck did he just say? And I'm me. When's the library being built? Looks like you could use a plagiarist. Uh-huh. Really big hole biome. RBH. Red, blue, help. Biome. Most of the English speakers are spinning wheels to catch up. Or that, or all the English speakers are looking up going, well, I'm too high. What? You. Anybody showed up that's legendary? Look at that! Legendary Hammer Dwarf. Stodier. Get in there. Novice Wrestler. Novice Wrestler. Got plenty of proficient wrestlers, but... I mean, you don't need to give yourself a hangover, Orange. I'm Elazen from Mountain Homes. Let's discuss your situation. There's much to share. Give me your wood. You know, this is starting to feel like, starting to feel like water lungs again. Give me all your wood! Backpacks and ammo. Okay. One beer's not going to get you hungover? You need to get yourself a stronger beer then. Red, blue, help, I'm stuck. It's like, help, call an ambulance. I'm stuck in this hole. Can't get up. Stuck in hole. Instruction is unclear. Stuck in hole. Maybe one barley wine? Barley wine gives me bad hangovers. Just gotta say that out loud. Like, some of the worst hangovers I've had in my life has been because of barley wine. You'll be back later? Alrighty. We'll see you when you're back. Let's mark all of this. We'll buy all of the logs off of them. I'll buy the 2 ropes because I'm lazy. I'll buy that thing of wine. I'll buy that copper pick. We would already have a metal industry, but I literally can't because there isn't any wood anywhere, so I have no way of, like, melting it. All right, well, let's go down here and remove stuff till it goes yellow. Turns out I don't actually need to trade very much of this stuff. I could buy their whole wagon, actually. Okay. Boom, boom. There you go. Trade. And I don't want to give them the rest as gift because I don't want my population to go up too fast. Considering it's already going up plenty quick. I don't think Ive has any barley wine. Well, based on the way you're speaking, I don't think you need any either. You're made out of sandstone. Let's go clothes, sandstone. This is all slate. Let's make slate block floors. You know what? Let's just throw a stoneworker down here. It's just going to start making all these for me. So, we're going to do this now. What we're going to do is starting right about here. We are going to make bedrooms. And the way we are going to make these bedrooms, I'm going to have little ramps. Whoops, that's the wrong button. I'm going to have little ramps on the outside going up. And those little ramps are going to lead to, well, more bedrooms on the upper level. We're going to do these on both sides. Smart ass? Why? Since when am I smart? All right, let's build that. Barley wine is one of those things where I'm like, is that beer? I don't know. Like, I like barley wine, but it doesn't feel like beer when drinking. Kind of feels like its own thing. Let's do all of that, all the way up to there. Also, once again, these dwarves down here are what's causing the lag. I mean, cider certainly isn't beer. You have demons in the first cavern layer too. Well, that's fun. I find that demons are much more common in this version. Like, we seem to run into them way more frequently. Like, perhaps I'm going a little crazy, but it certainly seems that we run into them a lot more frequently than we used to. It's like, everybody's just like, oh yeah, second, third cavern layer constantly. Just running into demons. Easy peasy. Which is kind of crazy, considering how rare they used to be in older versions. I guess it's just like because like, it was pretty common to just occasionally run into an exposed adamantine spire in version like 47. But now that the exposed adamantine spires also have like demons in them, it's like more likely that you'll run into that if you also hit that. Hey chat, you guys want to get a little bit of how do I word this? Schadenfreude off of a comment I just saw. Okay. So this person commented on my military tutorial, and they say, this game is so bad, the station military won't even eat out of stockpiles they're literally standing on. Yeah, because they're stationed. 20 years of game development. Lamau, what a pathetic excuse for a video game. I know the solution is a 1 month long stations with water skin and backpack, but it is entirely honest. They should eat available food within a certain range. This is hilariously pathetic. I want to be a game developer. Work right here. Horrible game designed by Five-Head wannabe Big Frog Man. Okay, that's the first comment. The second comment they left is on a different video of mine, which is one of my interviews with Zach and Tarn, and they say, horrible wannabe game developers that after 20 years they have churned out this poorly optimized game that runs on a single core in 2023. I mean, It's also running its own engine. It started development in 2. Anyway, whatever. Find me another game that uses multi-cores in 2023. You know what else uses single core in 2023? Cities Skylines. Anyway, to top it off, the Steam release uses cube statues sometimes. What does that have to do with the game? It's literally a sprite. And it has no child sprites. Well, it's about to. Come on. The UI launched having to select individual dwarves for burrows. Yeah, that sucks. I agree. Lamau. Like, really? I got 200, and you need to tell us to tell you to change that. Really? That's sad. No, they knew it was an issue, and they were working on it. I mean, you had 20 years experience. Cube statues. The humanity. It's because it's an image with a cube on it. Do you have any idea how much more art they would have to make if individual statue items were, like, also listed as... Anyway, whatever. Let's start going around the edge here and giving it, like, some slopes in places. Empty head commenter. Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of ramps. Oops, all ramps, yes. Because, like, while I'm streaming, I'm looking at YouTube comments, right? So they update. Every now and again, I see one go by like that, and I'm like... What was the punchline? That person made my personal intelligence score drop by, like, 3 by simply reading those comments. Bronze brain? Yep. Am I making a gargantuan pit? Well, I'm also making a gargantuan pit. The actual fort's down here. It's pretty small right now. But this is the actual fort down here. This is where we're going to live eventually. But currently, we are building a big old pit on the surface. And also down here. Because it's fun to build weird forts. I'm just seeing if any of these dwarves are named. I'm also checking for vampires. This fort is one of the most interesting so far in Steam. What, that I've built? Or in general? Because that's high praise. I don't know if I would say that personally. A metalsmith's guild has been established. Well, that's fantastic. Shame I don't even have any fuel sources for metal yet. The wooden fort was fun too. I really liked the last one. Last one was good fun. Also, the reason it's lagging so much is this kind of channeling takes a lot out of the pathing. DFHack is not only does it play nice with the Steam version now, but it's getting a Steam page, so you'll be able to get auto updates for it once this is out. If you use it, which I don't. But and Dwarf Therapist has mostly worked, with the exception of you can't use it to assign jobs because that's not how the job systems work anymore. Aside from that, you can't use it to assign jobs. That's DF Therapist has worked for quite some time now. Also, for you hack obsessives out there, I think they're still looking for testers as of last time I checked. So there's a Reddit thread where you can apply to test the Steam variant of DFHack. By that I mean, like, get a Steam key for DFHack, which is the funniest fucking sentence I've said in a minute. Or at least to me, it's funny. Wouldn't it be on the Steam Workshop? Nope, because that's not how DFHack works. DFHack is a separate piece of software that runs concurrently, not a mod. So I wouldn't confuse the two. It's like it's got almost more in common to like a trainer. If you ever used any of those. It's a RAM editor, so it just edits what the game is doing in real time instead of like modding the game's files. So it's not the sort of thing you can put on the workshop, as far as I know. Yep. That's what having a lot of resources does, which is why I recommend people sell off stuff they don't need. Go. You didn't get that far into it? Yeah. No, a lot of people call DFHack a mod, which is kind of not accurate. I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. It allows for more modding capability, for sure, but it in and of itself isn't really a mod. So it's a separate piece of software that sits in the Dwarf Fortress directory that launches when Dwarf Fortress launches. Which is also why older versions used to just think it was a virus. It used to be pretty sus, according to Windows. Oh, that's pretty awesome. X-Man, welcome back. Also, investments are open. I really like the new job system. I think it's far superior to the old one in like almost every aspect. As somebody who played with the old job system, because most of the people that are complaining about the new job system just use Dwarf Therapist and never actually played with the old one. I did. So I don't know. I really like the new job system. I think it's fantastic. You have too much for the trader? That's just Dwarf Fort. The trading economy is not really a pretty major... Well, it's not that it's not a major part of the game. It's one of the less developed parts of the game. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. Yeah, and the design of this game has always been to shy away from just putting everything in a giant spreadsheet. So the job system we have now is the natural evolution of what Zach and Tarn want to do with their games. So I'm not going to yell at them for having a design style that they want to achieve with their video game. And a lot of the basically all of the criticism of the new job system is just, I want a job system the way I want it, not the way you want it. And frankly, Zach and Tarn are more than allowed to do whatever they want with their video game. And if they don't want to turn it into a giant spreadsheet, which I thank them for, they won't. Atom smash everything or sell everything. You don't need to atom smash everything. Selling it works quite fine. In regards to just getting rid of your shit. Speaking of like brain dead commenters, I had someone get like weirdly mad at me once when I told them just to smash everything. It's like, oh, you don't need an item, just get rid of it. And they were just like, wait, so you want me to play the game the way it's not intended? I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And they're just like, the game is designed around making as much as possible. I'm like, Sure. And they're just like, so you want me to get rid of stuff? You want your game to run better, yeah? Your computer sucks. This game will make everybody's computer feel like it sucks. When traders show up, search by X, and you can just select all of the used clothes. And just set it for trading instantly. It's lovely. The goblins don't understand, what's the word I'm looking for here? The goblins don't understand diplomacy, so good luck with that one. Had you not seen the memes of Dwarf Fortress running like, you know, a game that requires a lot of processing power? That's also something that I will never fully understand. The people who have that visceral hatred for the way the characters move. That will never fully make sense to me. Maybe it's just I'm totally used to it, so I'm just completely dwarf-pilled, but, like... I don't know, like, I will never fully understand the, like, visceral dislike that some people have about the, like, way the dwarves move. Like, yeah, it looks like an old video game because it is. It's like, yes, of course it looks old, but it is old. When they rewrite the entire game from the ground up. Also, if you literally listen to anything, I know that you're joking, Chaco, but if you listen to anything that the developers say, it's very clear that multi-threading is not the way to go when it comes to making Dwarf run better. They're useless in trade? You have no idea what you're talking about if you think elves are useless in trade. Elves are the most valuable traders you can have. They bring giant animals. If you make the elves happy, they'll bring you giant elephants. You make the elves happy, they'll bring you giant bears. They'll bring you giant flying squirrels and jaguars and unicorns. Okay, then you are a big dummy for chopping too many trees. Chop less trees. Get good at Dwarf Fort. Dig down to the ground and don't have to use charcoal. Just use lava. Forehead. That's on you. If you were better, you wouldn't have this problem. Bye, kid. Honestly, the only shitty traders are the goblins because they don't trade. They will sometimes bring you stuff and that's it. Steel still needs charcoal? How much steel do you need to make full sets of armor for every single one of your dwarves? You get like 6 pieces of charcoal per tree. So you need what, like 40 bars? Not much. It's hard to get to. In this save file for me, yeah, hard to get to. In your save file where you can dig straight down, just dig. Like, just fucking keep digging. You'll get to it. It's fine. Not like your world's gonna end if you hit a cavern layer. Just seal the caverns up and keep digging. I don't like the elves because they're boring to fight against and they're easy to accidentally fight against. That's what I don't like about the elves, is they are just weak and they're... Oh, hey, Matt Damon withdraws from society. I'm sure this is fine. But yeah, elves are just weak and not fun to fight against. So... What's up, Tyler? So then why are you chopping so many trees? What are you doing that requires so much chopping? Minifem was still alive at the last fort, hasn't migrated. Also, Matt Damon is making something out of a gold bar and pigtail cloth. But yeah, no, I will agree. It is tricky to trade with the elves, but I don't understand the visceral hatred for them. And I don't think I ever will. Like, they're just exactly the same as any other faction in the game. They have their quirks and their pickiness. They're easy enough to keep happy. I will never understand the people's visceral hatred against them. And ethics-wise, they are less evil than humans, so... The thing that I don't like about people hating elves, Kirby, isn't that some people dislike the elves. It's some people straight up use it as an analog for racism to a point where it just gets weird. Not a fan of that at all. I really just wish that a lot of the hatred verbiage and all that shit just wasn't a thing, because it does get eerily sticky quickly when people just start openly hating a thing and talk about hating a thing. And that makes me feel gross. I just don't like it. Yeah, because books need analogs for racism that aren't actual racism, right? So a book needs to write a thing in a way that's like, we can write about racism here without actually writing about racism. So that it doesn't make all of our white American readers scared and awkward. So. You earn their affection? I don't know if you earn a cat's affection. Matt Damon has created Shoveth Thogal, a gold spear, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Odom. Bell Throne. It's like the elves can totally be a viable, fun adversary for the player. They can be a fun antagonist. But, I don't know. It's just the, I hate! It's just like, fuck, that's such a strong word. Like, come on, we're playing Dwarf Fortress here. Is all that irks me. And can't give it to the king? No, I can give it to whoever I want. This is a gold spear. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is adorned with hanging rings of picture jasper and menaces with spikes of gold. On the item is an image of Einod, Judge ringed? Yeah, it's Judge ringed. I thought it was Jagger inked. I was like, what the heck's that word? Judge ringed. The dwarf and dwarves in pigtail. Einod is surrounded by the dwarves. The arc relates to the ascension of the dwarf Einod to the position of Baron of the Accidental Ceiling in 106. Yeah, they're a fantastic antagonist. For me, it's almost more just like I am very sensitive to language, which is like a bad thing to be on the internet. But there's certain terms and words I don't like seeing used. Hate is one of those words, especially in the current year. Good for you. Go. That you will need to assign to the king so they can have the 7 symbols. Well, I mean, like I said, hate's a strong word. Dislike is a much less strong word. It's like, do you really hate elves? It's like, probably not, because you keep playing games with elves in them. If you hated elves, you wouldn't play games with elves in them. Right? So you clearly don't hate them. I think they're a fun antagonist. But I don't hate them. Let's do this. What'd you miss? I have to make a metalsmith's guild, which I'm not thrilled about. And we're going to make you out of... Jesus, I've got a lot of you. And you. They don't even bring books? Naturally, they don't bring books. Why would they give you their books? No, they bring giant animals, which are like the most valuable thing you can trade for. Frankly. Like, there is few things more valuable to you in Dwarf than giant animals. You're gonna cave in on me if I channel you down? No, you're not. We can... This is gonna be weird. So do goblins. In regards to living forever. Plenty of things live forever in Dwarf. Also, what's up, Ghost Wizards? The only thing more valuable for your dwarves is a room of puppies. How about... I was going to say giant puppies, but... But giant puppies aren't a thing, unfortunately. But how's things, Wizards? How you been? How's your streams been? I'm just sitting here in this really long load screen. Because this video game is made by incompetent developers! Sorry. That's going to be stuck in my brain for a little bit. All right, sweet. Corrupt file detected? No. No, certainly not. You should see how long it takes with, what's it called? Save compression on. Was that a Mimi video? No, that's just me mocking that person who left a comment on my YouTube video. That's all it is.
Hero Quest is the best game ever made, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
Yeah, what he said. How about I do this way? You lurked on Crab Time a bit the other day? That game's fun. It really is. It's nice to play a game that feels like Risk of Rain that isn't Risk of Rain. It makes me very excited for Risk of Rain Returns, actually. let's go slate. And slate. No, Risk of Rain returns. Risk of Rain returns is Risk of Rain 1 HD? I don't know if that's a fair thing to call it, but Risk of Rain 1 again is what that is. Risk of Rain 1 again. So if you would like to Risk of Rain 1 again, that's what Risk of Rain Returns is. But realistically, I probably won't play Risk of Rain 3 if they did make a third one, which they probably will eventually, seeing as those games are quite popular. But I will probably not play a third one. Purely because the IP is wholly owned by Gearbox now, which means Risk of Rain Returns will be the last Risk of Rain game that is actually made purely by Hippopo Games. Everything going forward is just going to be Gearbox. And I'll play games that Gearbox publishes, but I don't like Gearbox. So, kind of for the same reason I won't play Diablo, because I don't like Blizzard. Yeah, no, I think I'm done with Risk of Rain now, which kind of makes me sad. But it is what it is. What about Baldur's Gate? Is that made by or published by Gearbox? I mean, I don't really have any intention on playing Baldur's Gate to begin with, but to be completely honest with you, I never played Baldur's Gate back in the day and have no nostalgia for it, so. I also have no intention on streaming it. Mostly because I don't particularly enjoy streaming CRPGs. So, no, I mean, that's Larian. What does Baldur's Gate have to do with Gearbox, then? No, it's Larian, not Obsidian. Obsidian's owned by Microsoft. They don't get to do fun things anymore. Lots of stuff getting suspended up in here. There we go. Some dwarves getting beds. Sure, they'll be thrilled. Yep. So you give them chests are where they put crafts that they own. So things like scepters, crowns, rings, that sort of stuff. And then the cabinets are where they put their clothing. So if they have cabinets in their bedrooms, they'll put their clothing that they're not using anymore in their cabinets. And if they have chests in their rooms, then items that they aren't currently wearing, they will put into their rooms, and they will hoard stuff. And a dwarf that lives a full, happy life will have like 400 or 500 items by the time they die, all stored in their bedroom. How did I get the stairs? I built them. I'm allowed to build stairs. I'm just not allowed to dig stairs. These are two very different things. Ah, shit. I was making this out of the wrong thing. I was supposed to make these out of slate. Well. Yeah, no problem, Dogma. Right, let's do that. welcome back from ads. So to re-answer the same comment, they put items that they've acquired over their very long careers into chests, and then everything else goes into cabinets. So clothing goes into cabinets, items goes into chests. Okay, what the heck? Manager, where are you at? Ah, you're in the military. Need to remove you from the military so you can go do your manager jobs. The dwarves do it. That is all done by the dwarves. Could you imagine if you had to do that all by yourself? That would be absurd. I really want to accept that metalsmith guild, but I don't want to accept it until I've got some bedrooms done. Well, some dwarves are messy. So if you read their descriptions, sometimes you'll see a dwarf that'll just leave things strewn about without a care. Or alternatively, they've acquired enough items that they don't have space in their bedroom anymore. Because chests are not infinite. They're like a bin. They can only store so many items. We have... There we go. Doors are queued up. Send them to the dungeon? I mean, it's not a crime to be a messy person. It is where you are? Then literally don't play this video game. I know that you're joking, but like, good luck. Dwarves are messy. Fortunately, if clothes are just lying around on the ground, they become unclaimed after a little bit. So messy dwarves will just leave their shit. Also, some dwarves don't care about item ownership and will like literally give up item ownership when they like don't want an item anymore. So if a dwarf decides, man, I don't want this item, whatever this item might be, they will like just leave it on the ground and it'll cease to be theirs. So if you have a dwarf that's doing that, you can sell their items. Or alternatively, if they begin to degrade, they also lose ownership of the item and then you can sell them. So no, just use your tools that are provided for you to sell off excess items that you don't need. It's quite easy to do, really. And there's a lot of tools provided to the player to get rid of excess items. I'm not sure what that is. Dan's Labyrinth. What do you mean, which are used? The ones that have the X's. So search by X. Any things with X's on either sides are starting to degrade and lowering in quality. So just sell everything that has an X next to it. Search by X and just go to all the clothing sections and most of the items on the ground will get picked up. It's like you clean your fort like 2-3 times a year. Super easy. Guild please? Probably not happening. I've got priorities currently. Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm going to make microcline doors. Someone gets new one, puts on porch. Someone takes that one, switches it out until the whole town has a slightly better porch couch. I can tell you for a fact I've literally never lived in a part of the world where that is a thing that humans do. I mean, here, if somebody leaves a couch on your porch, you assume it's infested with something and walk around it. Like, you don't even walk close to it. Is generally, like, the given assumption when somebody just leaves a couch on their porch. But I guess I kind of see where you're coming from with that. Fly kick, what kind of dwarf would you like? If I can ask, of course. I don't have enough of any of these types of blocks. I'm just gonna place these everywhere so that, you know, they just start making stuff everywhere that I need. Yeah, but a book is very different from a sofa. Very, 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 very different. Carpenters with beards, probably. I don't have any carpenters with beards, but I do have 2 woodcutters with beards. How does a woodcutter sound? Always look a gift couch in the mouth. I beg your pardon? Fight. Sounds just fine. Okay. As it is then. Fly kick. Is frequently depressed after retching a miasma in 292 and is a dyed-in-the-wool quarreler. Never missing a chance to lash out in verbal hostility. He is troubled by this nature since he values harmony. He is made deeply uncomfortable by differences in appearance or culture, and he lives an orderly life organized and neat. He takes no pleasure in his talents and appearance, and he seeks out exciting and adventurous situations. He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others, and he tries to do things correctly each time, and he is quite ambitious, and he often doesn't feel envious of others, and he can occasionally lose focus on the matter at hand, and he tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others, and struggles against this tendency as he finds such open expression offensive. He has a sense of duty, and he tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects, and he lives a fast-paced life, and he is not particularly interested in what others think of him. What does choose a duck do? It lets you choose a duck. Obviously. He personally holds maintenance of tradition as one of the highest ideals, and would have the world operate in complete harmony without the least bit of strife or disorder. He views any show of emotion as offensive, and does not care about friendship. Oh, I guess, yeah, because, like, you check a horse's teeth, right? I don't know. I know nothing about horses, so I never would have come to that conclusion, but he likes native aluminum and silver and yellow zircon and menacing spikes and water buffaloes for their wallowing. And the words of the page of aquamarine and the sight of the musical blossom, and when possible prefers to consume carrot wine and tapir's milk, and can't stand purring maggots. And aesthetics-wise, he has a very long beard that's neatly combed. His sideburns are clean-shaven, and his mustache is neatly combed. His very long hair is arranged, obviously, in double braids, and his somewhat tall hair is copper. His skin is dark brown. Oh. This is all slate. I mean, There's less appetizing sounding alcoholic beverages in the Dwarf Fortress world than carrot wine, so I think you could do worse. Also, like, carrot cake doesn't sound all that appetizing, and then you eat it, and it's like, oh my god, this is life-changing. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, carrot cake is wonderful. You've never had carrot cake? Holy shit. You live. Carrot cake is probably my favorite not super sweet kind of cake. I love how I made both of these pillars out of the wrong materials. Oatmeal muffins made right can be very, very good. Yeah, I agree. Trying to think, what can I... Because, like, I have to think so hard before I dig anything in this map right now. Skull Knot. I like skulls. What's up? Welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. I have to think so goddamn hard about where I put things right now when I'm building stuff. It's very difficult for me to do this. But what's up, Skull Knot? Those things. Let's do that. But what were you guys up to today? If I can ask. We're currently building a fort where I'm not allowed to use the diagonal dig tool. And I'm only allowed to use the ramp and can't use the stairs tool. Also, it seems like the dwarves are partying because of the raiders, so it's time to do that. Hiking sounds fun. Random dwarf for my bot. I'm gonna name my bot. I can spell calcium. I swear. I'm just like, it's one of those words where I see it and it looks wrong. He's completely convinced of his own worthlessness, and has an incredibly calm demeanor, is not find most jokes humorous. He's conflicted, and he is confident under pressure, and he is prone to strong feelings of jealousy, is stingy with resources when working on projects, refuses to expend any extra effort, tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions, and does not go out of his way to help others. He doesn't focus on material goods, and he isn't particularly interested in what others think of him. He is trusting and is somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger, and he tends to reveal personal information. He needs alcohol to get through the working day. He dreams of falling in love. He personally sees the pursuit of good craftsmanship as a total waste, finds romance very important in life, and finds blind honesty foolish, does not care about family one way or another, and doesn't particularly value loyalty. Fuck, this verse describing me. He has a very long beard that's braided, his sideburns are clean-shaven, and his very long mustache is neatly combed. His hair is clean-shaven, and his nose is hooked, his gold eyes are slightly rounded, his dark peach skin is wrinkled, and his hair is raw umber with flecks of gray. Yeah, one could argue it's too infrequent, the sun hype, but it is nice when it happens. I mean, there is battle music. There's Vile Force of Darkness, which is pretty good battle music. One of these is going to end up being blue. All right, let's roll all the way across here and set all of these as bedrooms. 7 more bedrooms have been made. Making slow progress here. Up and down the soundtrack? Yep, it's just a lot of very chill stuff. I cannot wait until we get more music, which is something I'm very much anticipating, is more music. I think this particular one, we're just going to prioritize blocks and blocks. Maybe this one down here, we're also going to just prioritize blocks. Just to get blocks done quicker. Ah, we got several blue doors. Yeah, that's fine. Can swap them out later. Tricking? What do you mean? Why would you need to trick them? Just show it to them once and be like, listen to this. It banger. Any questions? And if then they complain, well then... Can't help you. All right, so something I am going to do. Let's actually see how many logs we have. 97. All right, so I'm sitting on 97 logs. How many beds do I have? Got 51. I'm gonna make 97 charcoal. Gonna jump up to the surface, and up here I'm going to make like 3 wood furnaces. And we're just gonna start smoothing, or not smoothing, but making steel bars. Just gonna be importing stuff to make into charcoal. Because I need to make steel swords before these guys decide they want to use these copper battle axes for the rest of their lives. Although, I think I'm going to cancel this job on my squads and set them to ready. Let's let them go do other things for a little bit. Give them a break. What's up, Almighty? You do have a sort of existential DF question, though. You have mastered the art of a decent embark fortress, and you find yourself getting tired of perpetuity, and you're unsure of what the next step is, and you don't think that you get you just don't get whacked in a year in more dangerous embark. Any advice on the incremental increases into the challenge in DF? DF isn't challenging. There is no advice that I can give you. DF is a very easy game. It's like playing Minecraft, it's like playing Minecraft and then starting to get annoyed when it's very easy to survive the first night. Dwarf Fortress is very easy. Most of the things that kill new players are very, 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 very simple and easy to avoid basic things. Like, oh no, somebody ran away with my, anvil, or, my dwarves died of thirst because they didn't know that they could, just harvest surface crops, or they didn't know how to get farming set up, and so their dwarves went insane because they didn't have clothing and stuff like that. Largely, in my experience, when players lose forts in Dwarf Fort, it's just due to lack of mechanical awareness more than anything else. So I don't really have advice for you in regards to how do you make the game more challenging. You can make the game more interesting, and the way I would advise you make the game more interesting is simply choose a biome you like to play, choose a faction, and try and better that faction in some way. Instead of playing a single fortress, play a faction. You need to remember that the version of Dwarf Fortress that everybody here is playing is really only half of a game, right? Like, you're not actually playing the whole game. You're playing Fortress mode, which is one mode of a much bigger game. And because you're playing one mode in a much bigger game without actually having the rest of the game there, you're missing adventure mode. And the way Fortress mode is supposed to play is you play Fortress mode for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Then you jump to an adventurer and you go to your fortress and you get a masterwork set of fancy armor and weapons that you spent the last 5 years making. You go slay a dragon, assassinate a king, kill a demon god, and then come back and hang out, and then you reclaim the fort because you got bored, so you decide to go play adventure mode for a bit. And then you reclaim that fort and you play your fort a little longer, and then you get bored of that fort again, so you go make a new fort, and then you realize, crap, I want my adventurer, so you reclaim your adventurer again, and then you walk back over to the fort and you reclaim that other fort, and then you go to war with somebody. Like, Dwarf Fortress is a game about just continuous progression in a straight in a flat non-linear fashion, and less of a I'm going to increase in the power scale, right? Like, because there is no progression in Dwarf Fort. There's no tech tree. You're not unlocking skills and items and weapons. You have everything at your disposal on day one. Meaning on day one, your dwarves are just as strong as they will be on year 45. So how do you make that interesting? Well, that's up to you. It's a role-playing engine more than a city builder. And people play it like a city builder or a strategy game, but at least to me, Dwarf Fortress really isn't either of those things. It's not a city builder nor a strategy game. It's you're playing D&D with yourself. It's just how much the player knows. Yeah, it's a knowledge-based game instead of a linear progression-based game. So yeah, I don't know. It's very difficult for me to actually give you advice on how to make the game exciting for you. Yeah, I really just need to wait in blocks. Just need more masons. And exciting for your first 5 or so forts. Eventually you just set the savagery level to very high and you've been having a blast. Yeah, that too. That, or like if you genuinely just think the game's boring, like just go install a bunch of mods that add a bunch of stupidly OP mobs to the game. Or try and build a fortress in the 3rd cavern layer with your world gen set to max savagery. Like, both of those things will just kill you. Go play on terrifying biomes exclusively if you want to die. You know, like if that's what gets your gaming brain going, then go do that. I don't think that's how Dwarf Fortress shines. I think that Dwarf Fortress is less enjoyable in that way. But if that's what gets you going for video games and the sort of gameplay you want, then go nuts. Your lighter died? No! Pour one out. Not the lighter. That is... funky way to draw a bedroom there. You were coming from RimWorld, so you were really used to things coming along. Like, the way I like to... I've made this comparison a billion times, so apologies if you've heard me say it before. But the way I compare RimWorld and Dwarf is RimWorld is a toy box, and Dwarf is a toy box, right? RimWorld plays by you reaching for a toy, and then RimWorld smacks you really hard over the head, burns your hand, electrocutes you, kicks you in the nuts, smacks you in the face, spits on you, and then carefully pulls out one toy and gingerishly hands it to you. And then you go to reach for another toy, and it does that again. Dwarf Fortress just dumps the toy box on your head and says, "Have fun, fucker," and then is already gone. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to get one toy at a time, but that's all you get, and it's a much smaller collection of toys? Or do you just want the toy box? The toy box makes progression a lot more complicated, and it gives some people analysis paralysis. Oh, half the toys are already broken. That's the thing. That's part of the analogy for Dwarf Fortress being a buggy mess. Is half the toys are already broken. The devil's in the toy box, you know? Let's get some more chairs up here. And don't forget, some of the toys in the toy box are actually the taser. Oh yeah, no. At the bottom of the toy box are also like the pain machines that RimWorld hits you with. So at the very bottom of the toy box, if you dig deep enough into the toy box, eventually you just like electrocute yourself on an open like conduit or something. Just bzz. Ah! Apparently I had an artifact that I didn't even hear go off. The clother named Tosid has created Dan Maston, a llama wool cloak, and offers it to the Bloody Dance of Kings. Well, that's cool. This is a llama wool cloak. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is made from llama wool, and the thread is midnight blue with dimpled dye. This object menaces with spikes of llama wool. On the item is an image of Mind Rumors, the Hermit of Chastity, a frosty metal mace in llama wool. You went to high school with Dan Maston? Yeah, but like, you know, he was kind of a dick, though. I mean, he wouldn't ever share that Sonic the Hedgehog cartridge. I mean, come on. That guy. You know, he was one of the few people with Sonic 2, and he just didn't let anybody else play it. Wouldn't even, like, give you the Player 2 controller, even though that game had two-player functionality. Damn it, Dan. All right. They're making charcoal. We're going to go up here. Smelt hematite ore. Yeah, Dan Maston does sound like a real name, doesn't it? Why do I want to just, like, start fake gossiping about people I never met that didn't exist? Like, do you ever do that? Just, like, somebody makes up a fake name and then you just start bullshitting about, like, a story that never actually happened about people that didn't exist? Anybody else ever do that, or is that just me? Well, no, Dan's Labyrinth wasn't Dan Maston. Yeah, definitely a different Dan. Although to be fair, generally the mean people that start with the letter D for their first names that I always met were always Daves. Daves were always mean to me, which is funny because there's a Dave who watches this stream that I know of who's very, very nice. Only when discussing character concepts. See, I don't do that because I'm not a nerd. Especially don't discuss them. I mean, come on. What do you take me for? Some kind of a geek? Let's go this way. Knock this out.
Boo! You suck!
I know. It's okay. I spent years of my life training to be this type of person. You know, it's almost impossible for me to read Ackroyd as a name. It just reads as Arkanoid to me. I don't know why. Also, Arkanoid, pretty fun. Roll all the way up there. Knock that down. What's this massive pit for? What generally do you think a massive pit would be for? Like, hypothetically speaking, if you had a massive pit in your fortress in Dwarf, what do you think it would be for? What would you use a pit for? I'm going to probably use it to reenact a scene from my favorite movie where the guy kicks the guy in the head and screams, "This is Sparta." But also, it'll be useful as just like a cool hole in the ground that we have. It's also useful as just a material locator. Lots of raw resources. Yeah. Dumping fit for the corpses? Nah. The corpses go into lava or underneath a drawbridge. You do not want the corpses to go into a place where the dwarves can see them. Because that's how you just end up with a bunch of unhappy dwarves. Speaking of happy dwarves, there's a baby that was just born. Well, that's lovely. I'm going to make a, this area. I'm going to make this area over here into a generic temple for temple activities, such as praying and crying and screaming in the general direction of some higher power that isn't here to help you anyway. That probably also doesn't care about you. All right, we're going to do that. Just popping in for something
Also
Discord
button.
related. Is there a mod around? Orange is technically. Is there somebody spamming people's DMs again? Why can't people just be nice?
Madness!
Madness! Thanks for clicking the button, Fog. Yeet. Fog made that cool shirt that some people bought last month. Also, Hobo's here, technically. Hi, Hobo. How are you? Don't seem to fulfill the needs for particularly player stores. Absolutely does not. No, certain dwarves want certain rituals at specific temples. It is better than nothing, but not a all-in-one solution. Are the generic temples. Yeah, now we just need Fourth Wall to actually get, like, purchasable beer mugs that don't ship only out of the UK. Because that would make shipping costs super expensive for a lot of people, which I do not want to make people have to pay. Last time you did that, they cursed everyone. So the only time gods can curse creatures in temples is if you have if you have furniture in the temple, and 2, a dwarf is actually mad enough to topple a piece of furniture, which isn't a problem with the temple. It means you fucked up and had some really upset dwarves. There's 2 ways you can solve this. Way number 1, simply don't put furniture in your temples. And way number 2 is don't let your dwarves get that mad. And making a temple is a good way to help your dwarves not get that mad. Any furniture. It's never just been statues. Well, then why'd you put an altar in your temple? Besides, then you get cool cursed dwarves. It's a good time. It's part of fun. Yeah, no, good luck running a fort functionally for a long period of time with happy dwarves without a temple. The part I find annoying is that temples and guilds is that they don't stop spamming you with requests. Just accept it and then ignore it. If you don't want to do it, accept it and ignore it. It'll go away. It'll piss your dwarves off if you don't do it once you've accepted it, but werebeasts, lock them in a room. Throw them in prison. Expel them. All valid options. It's literally happened once to me in this version of the game. So once in 660 hours, probably more than that now, have I had a character get cursed in a temple. So it's very easy to avoid. Temples are a necessary part of dwarven life, after all. Just got filled with bards because you had an open tavern and you couldn't say no to them. It's a fun way to run a fort, though. Do they revert back when they're killed? No, they stay in the form that they died in. I think that might be the way I'm going to do this. Taverns and music is very important, and temples is also very important. This fort looks massively epic, even though it's like tiny and there's nothing really happening just because of the big old hole in the front lawn. Actually, now I'm kind of curious. What's this look like in... It's literally just like, hey, so do you like a massive void in the darkness? All of the dig jobs queued up. Not a bad little fort. For a couple of days in June? Early June? Late June? Hypothetically speaking, of course. Well, if you are, you gotta reach out. I'll take a day off stream for that, even if I have to. You doing a work thing out here, or you're just gonna be in town for some reason? If not, well, regardless, we should go say hi to the bench again. There's 2 new breweries on that street, mostly because one of them closed and then reopened. And then renamed itself, and then the other one is just new. Some migrants have arrived. Well, that's awful. We're gonna have a mayor now. You know, actually, I'm gonna knock out these two. I'm gonna do this. This is going to be 2 offices. One's gonna be the mayor and the other one's gonna be something else. Was there a save for the last Was there a save for the last fort? Oh, fort available? No, I decided to not make one available for that one. Mostly due to laziness. And by the time I kind of thought of it, I'd already like moved on and not kept it. So I kind of screwed up on that one. It's like there's still one for Anger Forest if you'd like the world, but sorry about that, Aegis. I could go look into my previous hard saves and see if I have one hiding somewhere, but currently I don't think so. Okay, so this. It's going to be office number 1, and we're going to put another one right there. Oh, you'd be arriving July 28th. Family's doing a cruise from Alaska to Van. Oh, well, I should be here in July. That's a Friday. Yeah, I mean, I won't be streaming. Cognac's giving birth to a girl. We're up to a nice number of dwarves now. We don't have a mayor just yet. Let's see, who else has migrated here? Cognac here, Crinkled Paper, Flykick, Gimli, Matt Damon, and Beato. Hey, it's Polly. Shincat, Trickfinger. Cool. Fly out Monday? That's plenty of time. But yeah, sounds like a fun hangout opportunity. Assuming it all happens. Keep me posted, dude. How's that hematite coming along up top? Ah, look at all that. Look at all that iron. All right. Make pig iron on repeat. Then we'll make steel. Then we'll do it again. It's getting late. I was gonna say it's pretty late for you right now, isn't it? They want a farmers guild. I don't know about that. Seems suspect. I don't know if they've earned a farmers guild yet. They need to work harder for a farmers guild, frankly. It's a lot of livestock. Jesus Christ. Fish cutting guild is pretty useless. No, I mean, no guild is useless, right? Like, they all give the dwarves happy thoughts. They all teach children skills. They're all useful. It's more just I don't feel like building them right now. But no, they're all extremely useful, and you should make them. But the fact that they teach children skills and give your dwarf, like, to give you an idea, like, if a dwarf needs to craft an object, right? A dwarf can either craft an object, or they could go to the metalsmiths guild, the craftsdwarfs guild, the masons guild, or the carpenters guild and learn that skill and satisfy that need without having to craft an object. I think I just explained why you want a guild. Go. In the last sentence. So if you would like me to just say what I just said a second time, I can. But, and they train at exactly the same speed than the dwarf just crafting. So there's no speed difference. It's just purely a... There's no speed difference. It's purely a... you just want to be doing that anyway. You need guilds. Also, if you have problems with upset children, guilds help with that. So if you're one of those people who's like, man, my kids are always pissed. Well, make more guilds. Put toys in the guilds. They socialize in guilds, which is another space for them to socialize, which stops them all socializing in one place, which is good because that's better for frame rate. Because having large crowds is rough on the frames. So splitting them up around the fort is very beneficial to your gameplay. Yeah, there's a big variety of reasons to have guilds. Let's make 5 steel short swords. Let's just queue up 10. See if we can just get 10 done. We also have this friggin' gold spear, which is wild. But yeah, no, the biggest thing is just keeping them happy. You just want to keep your dwarves as happy as possible. And the easiest way to keep them happy is by providing as many needs as possible. And the more needs you can provide, the happier the dwarves, the better off everybody is. You see it being super useful for skills that aren't farmable. Yeah, like, I mean, like, to give you an idea, like, infinitely making things in your fortress just does what we were talking about earlier, right? Which is it weighs down your fortress. So if you want to have really good quality clothing, what's better? Telling 10 dwarves to just make socks on repeat until you have so many socks your frame rate slows down? Or is it better to make a clother's guild? Do you want a lot of artifacts that are weapons? Okay, make a weaponsmith's guild, and then all your dwarves will hang out in the weaponsmith's guild. Their best skill will be weaponsmithing, and then whenever an artifact pops, it's going to be a weapons. A weapons? You know what I means. You knows what I mean? No, but you know what I mean. It'll be a weaponsmith's guild. So, like, generally, you're just kind of, in almost all ways, just benefited from making guilds. Speaking of frames, Jesus. So much digging! Alright, so let's get these dwarves to assign uniform, metal armor, and get them training again. See if they all go get pokey sticks, because they should. Totally, yeah, no, and then fancy areas also make dwarves happy because, like, then you're making statues and you're making tables and you're making containers and a booze stockpile for it, and it adds gameplay, and it's like Dwarf Fortress, like, isn't Factorio, right? Not everything has, like, a strict use. Like, I have little rituals and things I build for every fort that mechanically serve zero purpose. But I do it anyway, because it's just how I build my forts. Not because mechanically it's required, but because it's how I build my forts. And that's like largely why I enjoy this game, is because there are things that I do not because I need to do them, but just because I like doing them. And the game lets me do that, and it doesn't punish me for that. Whereas RimWorld would be smacking my hand with a hot charcoal and like bouncing a ping pong ball off my forehead and calling me names for doing that. Like if Dwarf Fortress was like RimWorld, Dwarf Fortress would have patched out every single fun exploit that exists. Shark jumping walrus. What kind of derf do you want? I'm sorry, what? Orange? Or for dragons to show up, you need high wealth? Oh, you're playing, okay. I was like, what are you even on about? Kind of wasn't planning on playing that tonight either. Still kind of not. It's going. A fishing dwarf? I hope I don't have any fishing dwarves, because there's literally nowhere for them to fish. Well, I mean, if you want avos, you could have a fish dissector, but, like, they're not going to have any fishing they can do. Why don't you take something else that's equally dumb, like a soap maker, or, like, a pump operator? That's also just as redundant in a fortress that currently has no access to water. Currently, anyway. Or, like, maybe we could give you something useful, you know, like a child. Unlike those fisher dwarves. So, shark jumping walrus, do you want this fish dissector? Now that I'm done bullshitting for the last 30 seconds. Could also give you a dyer if you want to be in dire straits. Eh? You want the wrestler? The wrestler? He's going to be a sword poker soon, though. Shark yeeting walrus. The shark jumping walrus. I just want to see a shark jump over a walrus so bad. Money for nothing, streams for free? What?
No.
Doesn't generally think before acting. He is very impolite. He is inconsiderate of property and finds the humor in most situations he can considering. Occasionally he can lose focus at the matter in hand and generally finds himself to be quite hopeful about the future. He's slow to anger and he doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing his mind, and he doesn't often experience strong cravings or urges, and he is often nervous. He is cheerful and he tends to avoid any physical confrontations and works to square this natural tendency with his respective martial prowess. Prowess? I can read prowess. And he is slow to trust others, and alcohol needs working day, yes. Personally, thoroughly disgusted by cooperation and doesn't respect society that has settled into harmony without debate and strife, and sees life as unfair and doesn't care about it one way or another. He likes stoneware, black, bronze, onyx, honey, badger, leather, giant, groundhog, bone, the color dark indigo, gauntlets and backpacks, and the sight of the musical blossom, and when possible prefers to consume giant eagle and barley wine, and absolutely hates mosquitoes. He has a once thin frame, now bearing enormous thick layers of fat. He has a long beard, which is arranged in double braids, and his sideburns are clean shaven, and his very long mustache is neatly combed. His hair is clean shaven, and his slightly rounded bronze eyes are close set, and his nose is hooked, and his somewhat broad, tall ears are free lobed, and his hair is dark brown, and his skin is pale brown. I mean, the streams are free. And realistically, if you throw money at the channel, it doesn't really get you anything aside from a slightly less stressed streamer. So I guess, yeah, you're not wrong with the Dire Straits. Just straight up going all in on Dire Straits there. The joke that I made that then, like, barely registered. Also, this is a very symmetrical fort for me. I don't normally make things super symmetrical. After watching the past few nights, maybe we do need to play some Crab Champions today. Do a run or two. I was listening to somebody talk about Crab Champions on a podcast recently, and it was kind of funny because their description of it was very clear that the only run-based game the person had ever really gotten heavily into was Vampire Survivors. And it was really funny hearing them like compare it mechanically and in basically every way to Vampire Survivors. They're just like, well, you see, it's really hard to like see why this game would have a place in the market in a world where games so cheap as Vampire Survivors exist. It's like, just very, very funny to me. Very, very funny. My style is variety. That's cool. I can deal with that. The soundtrack kind of slaps. What, for Crab Champions? Yes. Soundtrack is great for Crab Champions. Let's see how we're doing for metal. Iron, steel. I think there's a lot of people out there that see the term run-based game, and the only thing they really think about is, oh god, that game is going to waste all of my time. I kind of get it. I kind of get it. I'm going to forge 10 steel shields, and then we'll do helms, and then we'll do breastplates, and then we'll do low boots, and then we'll do greaves, then we'll do gauntlets. We'll slowly get these squads decked out. The actual kind of annoying thing right now is I really wish that I had access to wood in that cavern there, because I wanted to do siege weapons. I wanted to have my dwarves training on catapults, but I'm like sitting here going like, well, I need the charcoal, so kind of frustrating. It's like, god damn it. I'm gonna start slaughtering some pigs. Yeah, and mail. Although breastplates first. I want the strength training. But after we make mail shirts, we should also make email shirts. Gmail shirts are also very important. Just don't make the Yahoo shirts. Those are for crazy people. Why low boots instead of high? Because I'm too fucking lazy to set up shoes. Because I would rather go with low boots. Actually, question. Okay, so this faction can make high boots. Not all factions can make low boots, first and foremost. And also, they don't wear high boots over shoes. They have to take their shoes off to wear low boots. So either you can go through and manually remove shoes from all their uniforms, you can get them to replace their clothing with armor, which I don't like doing, or you can just use low boots, which I'm lazy for low boots. I'll figure out what I was going to do in a minute. Oh, I know what I was going to do, and it didn't need that. I needed to go here, and we're going to go piggy, 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 piggy. Yes. Piggy, piggy. Bacon, 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 bacon. And we'll leave the piglets alive. Replace armor with clothing. I like to cycle my squads in and out of active duty. And I don't like to make them wear their armor at all times because it stops them from equipping new sets of clothing, which can give them biggie bad moods, which is a really dumb way to word that because I've been streaming for a long time. So there's a point where you start getting negative repercussions for basically going out of your way to just not abuse is the wrong word. Let's make bone bolts. There's a point where if they're not able to constantly be equipping new sets of clothes, as their clothing wears down, they get upset. And they don't get new sets of armor very frequently. So dwarves that want to equip items and get new things, if they're just wearing full suits of armor all the time and not allowed to wear clothes, one of two things will happen. Either you will take them off duty, and then they will strip all their armor off to go get a new set of clothing that they want, or they will just leave their armor on all the time and slowly get upset because they just have their armor on all the time. So, and of course, that's not going to affect every dwarf. It affects maybe 1 in 3 or 4, but there's nothing wrong with any method. It's just what method do you prefer? That's all it really is. Like, there is no wrong way to play Dwarf Fortress in literally any instance. Like, every way to play Dwarf Fortress is correct. There is no wrong way to play Dwarf Fortress. Unless it crashes. That's probably a wrong way to play Dwarf Fort. It's also like, supposedly, clothing and weight based on clothing is tracked towards skill training. So if they're wearing more clothing, theoretically, they're training more. Like, a really good way to make sure every dwarf in your fort is really, really strong is make a lot of lead bracelets and rings, because they wear rings on their hands, and they wear crowns on their neck because they can't wear them on their head because Dwarf Fortress is stupid. And they wear necklaces on their head because Dwarf Fortress, and then they wear their rings. And if it's all lead, then it weighs them down and they move really slowly, but then they get really buff because they're all running around wearing lead jewelry. It's like in Dragon Ball when Goku puts on the weighted training armor, except, you know, it's just you're just making them train wear jewelry. So that's stuff like that's kind of fun. But Darren, how's your day been? Hope you've been good. I mean, I've seen every single episode of Dragon Ball and almost every episode of Dragon Ball Z. So, yeah. Horrible waste of time. Snatchers, protect the children's. Well, that's a thing. Time to go get some free bags from the goblins. And hit both these targets. Oh, there's 3 of them. Oh my god. The fear we feel right now because there's 3 whole goblins here to steal our babies. Matt Damon's not in the military, but We could put Matt Damon in the military. We might not like it, though. All right, a shark-eating walrus is going first. He's got his sharp stick out, and he's screaming, "Battle rages, I terror no feel." Something went flying by. That was upper arm. That's probably good, right? Right. The goblin thief appears to have had a bad day, and the militia commander slashes the goblin thief in the upper arm with his steel short sword, and the severed part sails off in an arc, and he says, "How fragile we are, begone fear, I've been wounded." "That is very annoying," says the goblin. I would say it's more than annoying. You just had your arm ripped off. Anyway, that's a lot of blood. Look at all that blood. Man. Rough day on this goblin. Stopped bleeding somehow, but it's still missing an R. Okay, now he's missing more than an arm. What are you missing now? Oh, your neck. Well, that's good. The goblin thief said, "I must withdraw, I must withdraw, I must withdraw, I must withdraw." Collapsed onto the ground in overexertion, stands up, and then got stabbed by the militia commander in the lower arm. Oh no! With his short sword in the center part. Wait, did you lose a second arm? No, okay. And then the goblin thief loses hold of their bag and their hood and falls over from overexertion and then gets stabbed in the neck, and the severed part sails off in an arc. The head stayed on, though, which is very skillful cutting on behalf of the dwarf, I think. Very skillful cutting. It's just a flesh wound, clearly. All right. Well, we're into early summer. I have a mayor yet? Nope. So we haven't had elections yet. How many dwarves need beds? Assuming most of them? Yes, most of them. The process of setting up these bedrooms will get quicker, so. And we'll go bedrooms across the side there. Did I find some wood? I traded for some, but I haven't found any myself, no. We made like 50-something beds, and now that I have like 50-something beds, we are working on other things. Like we made some charcoal and such. 12 dwarves and 13 children. Yeah. There was a screenshot from ages ago on the subreddit, which was about 41 children. It was 40-something children and 2 parents, which is funny to me. All I gotta say is that I know many people disagree with this, but you gotta remember, children are the most valuable dwarves in your fort. They're literally the future of your fort. Without them, you will eventually wither and die. You need children in your fort. Regardless of how much you don't like them, they are very important. And also are potentially the most, like, stable, smartest, most skilled dwarves you could possibly have. If you raise them in a way where they're not stressed their whole lives. Just like real life? Yep. Which is why it kind of sounds like I'm joking when I say it, but it's true. So these are both going... This is going to be an office and a dining room or 2 offices. I haven't decided yet. Oh, looks like some of the goblins escaped. So we'll give the dwarves a opportunity to run around with no orders. Box a giant bear and almost win? Or like that child that I had in the fort that was Al's dwarf, who dodged that forgotten beast like 1 billion times before finally giving in and dying. Like, that shit's just awesome. Human caravan has arrived. Would you look at that? That's intriguing. We'll bring some gems and a bunch of bolts. Let's also check crowns. Bring some crowns. Okay, who's Angie? Bumrick? This dwarf seems to be, this dwarf came from... Okay, this dwarf was in the Whales of Drowning. This dwarf was a member of a bunch of guilds in the Whales of Drowning. So this dwarf was in Waterlungs, and this dwarf was in Danger Caves. Skipped over the fort where everybody died, it seems like. And is now one of my militia dwarves in this fort. I will remove you from the position of militia dwarf. You are not suited. Let's swap you out for a few other dwarves. Hey, look, it's once again Polly's here. Go with Tun. Go with Dumud. An adequate swords dwarf, I'll take you. Skilled swords dwarf will take you. Proficient swords dwarf will take you. And we will get them back to training. Look at that. Almost enough shields, too. Good stuff. Everybody has steel swords. Yeah, you showed up, Polly. We'll have to make you a library for your scholar. See how we're doing for... So we got 14 iron. Currently no steel. You're still smelting hematite. You're making pig iron. I think once you run out of ironed pig iron, then we'll make more steel. Well, actually, let's do steel first. Did you show up yet? No, I haven't seen you. Not in this fort yet. Saw some guy on the subreddit talking about it and it reminded you of your experience. Oh, what, just having tons of kids show up? Yeah, I mean, I've had forts like that too. It's kind of funny when it happens. It's another one of those things in Dwarf Fort that just makes some people really upset for some reason. It's like, well, I mean, if you really don't want that army of children, just figure out who their parents are and expel the parents and they'll take the kids with. Like, I see people doing, like, absurd examples. Sorry, I'm just losing brain cells because that person is still commenting on my YouTube videos, and I had to tell them to sod off. Ay, ay, ay. Some people's children. Literally, he's on like the 8th video now. He's literally just going from video to video, just like leaving extraordinarily rude, like not helpful criticism about how apparently Dwarf Fortress's developers are useless and terrible at their jobs and wannabe devs and bad and blah 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 blah. It's like, you know what? You do that like 1 or 2 more times and I'll just shadow ban you and move on with my life because you're making me lose brain cells. You know, like there's legitimate criticisms under my videos all the goddamn time for Dwarf Fortress. And I critique the game too. Like, this game's fucking busted in a lot of ways. He clearly has time on the game because he was talking about like how he had 200 dwarves at one point. And it's like, okay. Well. What kind of life leads you to do shit like that? Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, they're not necessarily being they're not really being destructive. So, like, I don't know about that wording, but all right. Just gonna buy all their meats, I think. It's just, it's not really benefiting anybody, you know? Like, trust me, like, the UI for this version of the game, not great. It's a hell of a lot more accessible than it was before, and that was the whole goal. Like, yes, it could be a lot better. I completely agree with that, but, like, running around saying useless, lazy devs, it's like, fucking, dude, you're probably younger than this video game. Like, criticism is totally fine. Throw criticism if you have it. Being rude in my comments section will just get you shadow banned after a while. Because I'm the one that has to stare at it. Who has time? Yeah, if I don't like games, you know what I do? I go play something else. And something that I'll never understand, I guess, about games communities in general are the people that, like, if they don't like a game, they leave a negative review and then go leave like a 10-paragraph message about how the game wasted their time and how the game is like horrible and nobody else should buy it and you shouldn't support these developers on a game that's largely liked by the majority of the player base in the Steam forums. And then they'll get into like massively loud arguments with like a dozen people who like the game, calling people fanboys, then accuse them of trolling. And it's like, you're trying to actively dissuade people away from a game that people are passionate about and like. And then you act all surprised when they go, I like the game though. It's like, it confuses the hell out of me. See, here's the thing. The studio culture of Blizzard, not good. There are plenty of good people that work at Blizzard. Right? It's just like Activision, shitty studios, or shitty studio, right? Shitty overarching company. There's a lot of good people that work at Raven Software, right? So it's like, yes and no. The corporate structure of Blizzard fucking sucks. But Blizzard, largely fine. As devs. Like, the people at Blizzard are largely fine. They're just people, like anybody else. There's shitty people everywhere. Yeah, don't say the devs are bad, right? Like, I could see somebody stating, oh, the devs at Studio Wildcard are bad. No, the management at Studio Wildcard is bad. The business management at Studio Wildcard seems pretty bad. The devs, they're fine, probably. I don't know any of them personally, but I'm sure they're fine. I used to know one of their community people until she quit. So, she's cool. Got a good experience working there. She got to dress up as a dinosaur and run around in the IGN offices. I'm pointing at you right now, Redbug. But yeah, no, the devs just want to make cool video games. That's all that they want to do. And don't go hating on devs just because, like, if a game has criticism thrown at it, throw criticism at the game, and throw criticism at the studio management. But when you just say the dev, to be fair, I only blame you and point at you when your vampire shows up and eats my dwarves and I don't notice, which happened in the last fork. Oh yeah, no, it's like people who get mad at lazy QA for a game being buggy. It's like the QA people are the people that knew exactly how fucking buggy the game was and wanted the, like, management to fix it. That's not on QA. That's on management's incompetence. Like, my little sister worked in QA for a really long time on a video game that many of you have probably played, which I'm not going to say anything more. And very big popular video game. And you trust me, QA is just the most well aware. She doesn't work there anymore, but I will wait until, like, she's moved back and I'm told that I can talk about it first. But, like, you know, it's... I mean, it's tale as old as time shit, right? Go look up stories of anybody who works in gaming QA and you'll find basically the same story. Don't. That's my advice on getting a job in QA. Dan. Don't. Find a outsourced QA company and apply. That's it. Like, just go apply. Like, it's one of those no experience needed, but experience is beneficial gigs. So just go apply. Just go find a outsourced contracting company. Some of them do work from home stuff. Some of them don't. Bigger studios, no fucking idea. Bigger studios generally just need you to be convenient and close by, and they will fire you every 6 months. Because QA workers generally just get treated like shit. I do have a mayor now. Hey, look at that. Aegis is the mayor. So, Aegis, you now get this little office. I hope you like your little office. It's kind of small, but, you know, it's your office. It's the one you get, so... Aegis now has office. Aegis is not happy with office, but I can make office better by putting a pedestal in the office and then putting that gold spear on the pedestal in the office. This can be your dining room up here. Now you just want a chest. Do I have a chest? Nope. You worked at Red Hat, you worked with software devs, and they called QA folks that want to dev but can't. There's zero thanks in QA. Being QA is like being the dishwasher in the restaurant, except I think you're probably appreciated less by the wider community. I've had people ask me, they're like, do you want to work in games, right? Largely, unless some studio walked up to me and said, we want to bring you on in a consulting role, I don't think I will ever work in games ever. Not because I don't want to. Games are super fucking cool. But, frankly, game development is a goddamn thankless job. Especially in, like, the AAA space. Like, people... It's an industry that needs a lot of work, I guess. Well, I mean, like, as an example, it's like, you see what Shroud and what's his face are doing. Like they're working with Splash Damage, who've made a bunch of games in the past, a lot of first-person shooters, in consulting roles to make a survival shooter. Sacriel, yeah, that's his name. That's the sort of thing I would consider doing if offered. But outside of that, yeah, no, absolutely not. Let's chuck you in there. Proficient fighter. There we go. Everybody has weapons. Everybody has a shield. Good to see. Now it's time to do steel helms. Steel helms are next. Cheers, Ozone. Thanks for swinging by this evening. Good to see you. You can't imagine that going poorly at all? I mean, I could see it going well. As long as they're, like, you know, reasonable with what the possible outcome could be, I could see it going just fine. Those two are smart dudes. Shroud and Sacriel. Like, they're smart guys. They know what's up to a degree, and I think that they can, if they play their cards right, they can do that well. We're about to get hit by an ad. So, but no, I don't know. If there are several like very specific situations where if somebody reached out to me, I would say sure. But game dev is it's a weird industry, and there's very few places I think I could ever see myself working. So me giving other people advice on how to get into the industry is kind of fraught because it's like, I don't know if you want to. Be interesting. There's been many streamers who've tried to make games and failed. Cough, Dr. Disrespect. Cough. Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree. Chat, I'm kind of thinking about putting grates in the middle of these holes all the way through here. I think we can make that real cool. I mean, I'll tell you this. I play games all day for work, right? Like this is my job. I know it might not look like a job, but this is my job. There are days where I wake up where I don't want to stream. You know, it's like any other job. And I've had plenty of like traditional jobs in the past, right? And in my experience, doing this job, every now and again, someone will be like, "Hey, Greg, do you want to play games?" Last fucking thing I want to do is play a video game. And it's, I mean, I get that. Not totally true. YouTuber Video Game Donkey's wife made a video game publishing company using Donkey's platform to market it. So, yes, Video Game Donkey is in fact an employee at the publisher Big Mode, but it's his wife who made the publisher. So it's her publisher, not Donkey's publisher. So Weaponsmith is throwing a tantrum. All right, you know what? I want to build a cool fort. I don't want to deal with tantruming dwarves. So you, Dwarfy, here, get out. Just go away. You're single. You're not named. Just get out of the fort. I don't want to deal with you right now. Also, why is there miasma there? Rotten lizard meat. Well, okay. I think I'm just going to go right here, and we're going to make a refuse pile. Why can't I? There it is. So yeah, no. Largely, it's like I think Leah's the CEO actually. Like Donkey's the co-founder or something, but yeah, no. Big mode's neat, and like they've already picked up a cool game, which is Animal Well, and that game will do just fine. They're doing that smartly. They're picking up games that are almost done and just helping market them, and that's all that the games need. And Donkey's fan base is wild, and we'll just go buy whatever the fuck he tells them to. So that'll it's an interesting conflict of interest. I'll put it that way, but he seems to be doing it right so far. I mean, another example of that's actually Yogscast, right? Like Yogscast has Yogscast games. And say what you will about Yogscast, but like their publishing arm is doing largely fine. From what I can tell anyway. I think that depends on the purpose, Redbug. Now I want to know what kind of games you're working on, but I won't press. One of the funniest random game devs in my chat situations was a person was in my chat and talking and mentioned he was an indie game dev. And I was like, oh, what have you made? Have you made anything I've heard of? And then just like named his game and I'm like, oh, I 100%ed that. It's very funny. NDA probably applies. Yeah, it's usually the case. That's why I said I won't press. What are these dwarves doing? Oh, they need more goblets. Cups or mugs. Speaking of goblets, cups or mugs. Working on them helms. None of them have helms. Well, there we go. Dwarves are getting shields and trying to get helms. This is a lovely fort. It's lovely aside from the fact that I'm like completely ignoring what my dwarves need in a lot of cases, but yeah. Yeah, it's been a lovely fort so far. You know, I really want to just put a bunch of catapults up here and just start the dwarves firing. Makes you want to play Jupiter Hell. Man, that game bums me out these days, dude. Honestly, like, at this point in my career, Jupiter Hell is the poster boy reason for me to never work with publishers directly again. Which is sad. Love that game. This is like the mythical dwarven wall we made to prevent the elves from crossing the border? What? No, this is like... How would I describe this? This is the giant hole in the ground in which most of the enemies are going to fall to their doom. Run, raise, choke. What kind of dwarf would you like? Hopefully lives longer than the last one. You know what? Let's just queue those up manually. Catapult parts. Let's just do 12. Another military dwarf? I got him. Not certain you want them, but I'll give you the happiest military dwarf with beard. So not shark jumping walrus, because shark jumping walrus is ecstatic right now, but here, we'll give you this one. This is Stodier, the Hammer Lord. Run, raise. Run, raise, choke. Run, raise, stab. You have a sword. He is obsessed with order and structure in his own life, with everything kept in its proper place. After retching and miasma in 292, he shrews at practical concerns for philosophical discussion and puzzles and riddles in the world of ideas, and often finds himself changing his mind to agree with somebody else. He is somewhat quarrelsome, and he is bothered by this, since he values friendship and does not often feel lustful. Values friendship and does not often feel lustful, and he is not inherently proud of his talents and accomplishments and likes to brawl, and he tends to be swayed by emotions. Artifact is starting. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Dreams of mastering a skill. Personally, values sacrifice and does not care about fairness, and likes marcasite, trifle pewter, and picture jasper and mahogany, wood, and quivers and bracelets, and when possible prefers to consume mead and white millet, and absolutely hates jumping spoders. Are you still alive from earlier today? Yes. No dwarves have died in this fort just yet. He is very muscular and he has a very long beard, which is neatly combed. His sideburns are clean shaven, and his very long mustache is arranged in double braids. His medium-length hair is braided, and his nose is hooked, and his somewhat tall ears have nearly fused lobes. His round chin, he has a round chin, and he has a round chin. His aquamarine eyes are slightly rounded. His nose bridge is slightly convex. His hair is charcoal, and his skin is brown. And the pump operator has created a microcline mug and offers it to the Bloody Dance of Kings. It's called Batan Legan, which means make more mugs, you doofus. Yeah, I get it. This is a microcline mug. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with oval schist cabochons and object menaces with spikes of microcline. And they're more than welcome to use it as much as they want to drink alcohol out of. We need 3. Yeah, I don't understand why dwarves dislike jumping spiders. Jumping spiders are adorable. Jumping beans fun. Yeah, I feel like jumping spiders are the easiest way to like reacclimatize people into a world where spiders are not gonna like kill you immediately if you look at them funny. But jumping spiders wears water as hats. Look at these old boys. They're so cute. How do you not love jumping spider? They are super curious. Like, look at these guys. Look at this dapper little fellow. He does that. You swear those things think. I mean, they are alive. So, that's not like a ridiculous concept. Although, unless you're one of those people who thinks that the concept of a bug that thinks is frankly offensive. You mean like they're smart critters? They are smart critters, though. I mean, yeah, that's why people keep them. They're smaller than a pea? Have you seen how big the galaxy is? And the universe? We're pretty fucking tiny. I'm just saying. Like, I don't think, you know, there's a that's what she said joke in here somewhere, but size doesn't matter that much. Okay. Small creature can be smart. Rats are smart. They're also quite small. Snakes, on the other hand, dumb. Very dumb. Uber stoop. That's it. Also very not majestic much. I like snakes, though. Snakes are awesome, but very dumb. See, unlike those tiny little spiders, snakes, things are just kind of scared of them. And snake's brain is about the size of a chickpea, maybe smaller. And they just check if thing food. Is thing food? Okay, is eating this thing gonna kill me? Uh-oh, it's gonna kill me. Well, I guess I'm just gonna die nomming on this now because I can't let go. Big idiots, yes. Like, do snakes mean to bite you? Probably not. They're probably just too stupid to realize that they're biting you. Anyway, we're just gonna fire this catapult at will. I'm sure this will be fine, right? Can snake puke? This is gonna be my strangest Google search today. Can a snake puke? Yes, snakes can vomit. Usually occurs after the snake has partially digested its meal. Many times, since the snake is bringing up intestinal contents from further back than the gastrointestinal tract, it seems like it's more distressed by... Oh. I don't know. The snakes I used to have growing up were very small, and we would give them slugs, like garden slugs. This is going to be a very efficient way of getting boulders out of my fort. Some do as a defense mechanism. The only defense mechanism I knew that my snakes had was pee on the person or bite them. So I can't say I've ever seen a snake vomit. When you're terrified of something, you just pee on them. You know, the intestines of ferrets are small, and if they regurgitate... Oh, man. Intestines of ferrets are so small and narrow that they often die from choking? What, ferrets? Ferrets don't seem super brilliant either. I mean, they are just, like, snake rodents anyways, so... Must just have something in common there. Let's fire off a catapult, shall we? Ferrets are crazy? Yeah. There was one time, my, ex's older brother's ferret. Let's see how far this goes. Whoop. My ex's older brother's ferret. Wow. Pretty good range on that. My ex's older brother's pet ferret. Went down, like he had it on a leash and they had it walking around in like their backyard area. And he had it on a leash, and it like went underneath something and down, like into a hole, right? And just came out with like its face just red with blood. So I don't know what it killed, but it killed something underground. Weird little animals. I've lived in a house with 2 ferrets for a total of 3 weeks, and I never want to be near a ferret ever again. I do not like ferrets. I like animals. I would go so far as to say I love animals. I've decided ferrets are not animals. They're like cats, but worse. Except like cats are like intentionally malicious. Ferrets are just stupid. Like they are just extraordinarily dumb animals. And I don't ever want to be near them again. And I also don't want to smell them again. Greatest gift ever? I'm kind of glad I don't own pets now. Cute animals are always either dumb or evil. Or the owner is dumb or evil for owning them. Our very head empty. My ex, one of my ex's cats was very dumb. He was very head empty. Since the other cat she had was pretty smart, but also just like a maniacal, asinine piece of shit. I never want to see that cat again, and I'm so happy I don't have to. Cat was awful. Hated that cat. This is Sue Giraffe going, oh, whoa, 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 I got a bunch of bingo points. The liaison Broduin has shown up. Oh, wow, that was fast. I come empowered to establish this colony as a... No, thank you. No, 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 no. No, thank you. That first 30 rounds in Crab Champions on easy was a lot of fun. It's a lot harder on me. But yes, that game is a lot of fun. Here, take all these body parts. Aw, man, I can't search for rotten stuff and sell you all the crappy clothing. So you remember how earlier I was talking about you can get rid of your clothing by just searching X? Just search X. Go through all the clothing tabs. Easy. Easy peasy. Your old cat could open doors, and he was constantly up and about doing so. My parents' cat can open cupboards, and then he gets himself stuck in cupboards. Which is, if they have any kind of swing to them, he'll go open the cupboard, slink inside, and then get stuck inside. And then he'll just meow really loudly. He also used to be able to open the dryer at the house that I grew up in. Obviously, they have a different kind of dryer now at my parents' house, but, like, he would open the dryer and then just go, like, get himself stuck in the dryer. Also, we need to appoint a new broker because Aegis is too busy being a manager or a mayor. So, he will assign a new dwarf. Military's going to go on break. He helped you a couple times when you left the keys inside? Wait, actually? Can he pick locks too? Let's buy all the cheese. Oh shit, they brought books. They brought a book. But I can't afford it. Also can't afford the cheese. Oopsies, wrong button. All right, chat. I'm enjoying this fort a lot. This is a cool as hell fort. But on the topic of brains, my brain is starting to shut itself down. But I don't quite want to stop streaming yet. And we've thrown around the ideas of me playing Crab Champions, and you guys keep talking about Crab Champions. So I think we're just going to save this fort for the day and go play some Crab Champions. How's that sound? What do you think, chat? Round or two of Crab Champions? We made some pretty damn good progress, though. I'm still having to wrap my head around this whole can't use the digging tool. But I think we're making good progress. I think that this initial kind of meeting area looks real nice. And, you know, it's a pity that this isn't water lungs, because these kind of look like lungs. Anyway, we're going to kind of keep going up this way, and we're going to have scattered rooms in between. And I mean, it'll be a much squarer fortress, I think. And then we're going to construct, like, rooms and stuff up here and eventually connect to this cavern layer down here. And we got to go through and get out all that. God damn, more migrants. Yeah. I'm enjoying this. This has been a good fort. So, if you want, you can say goodbye, YouTube. Well, then you should make your cup of tea. Because then you won't care what cup of tea I'm playing. All right. And, you know, of course, streamer appreciates it if you stick around because average numbers are nice to have, but you guys do you. So the question is, who wants to play? That's the important question. But we'll be playing more Dwarfs tomorrow, normal time. You guys know what time of day that is. So, tomorrow morning, normal stream. If you just want Dwarfs. Also, there's Dwarfs on YouTube's. I'll praise the Holy Crabbo. It's the best kind of Crabbo. You just need to make coffee? No. No time for coffee. Gloomhaven. Well, you have fun with Gloomhaven. Hello, Trimkoff. Yeah, we're just finishing up with Dwarf Fort for the day. We're going to go play some Crab Champions. But yes, new fortress. New fortress started today because we completed our goal with the last one, which was kill the king. There's a video on the YouTube channel of us completing that